health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
A donation of £20 could help 167 people take their first steps in getting mental health support through Mind's booklets.
£40 could help keep Mind's supportive online community side by side, open for another hour, helping to connect people and feel less alone.
Good evening, race fans. I'm Part here, Black Flag Racing TV, and we're back with our special event raising money for the charity Mind. It is 3-hour endurance racing, emulating a full 24-hour cycle. We're on race number 4. I know it was originally supposed to be Spa. Well, actually, Spa was supposed to be race number 3. But with the problems with the pit bug in Spa, we can't do that because you get stuck in the pits for about 2 hours. Good evening, Paul. Hope you're all right, buddy. So basically, we are at Nurbugring for the on the 24-hour track, of course, not the not Nordschleife, not the GP track, the 24-hour Nurbugring track in the Group 1 cars. It's for a great cause. It's for Mind, obviously, as you would expect. We have already raised just under 500 quid. Be good if we could bump it up above that figure. But yeah, very, very pleased with how it's gone so far. Just 8 runners this evening. Stormfly, Wiggy, TJ, Cullum, Rooms, who jumped in last time out at Daytona and absolutely smashed it. Good performance from him. Fubar is with us today. Bandit, Old Man Jay, and of course your glorious host. Let's have a quick look where we're at in terms of the leaderboard, because we're now 4 races in, so that's how it currently looks. Sausages obviously went back into hospital with his leg before Daytona. Doesn't look like he's going to race for the rest of this season. Starts to drop down the order. Starker, of course, picks up the mantle. He's currently 2 points clear of VR46 at the top of the table. Just 2 points in at the moment. So big race between them two today. TJ jumps in another 6 points back, 8 points off the leader. He is also going to be vying for a place in that top 2, potentially a place on the podium, on the front of the podium. Fubar, good opportunity for him today to get into that top 3 as well. Clearly he's relying on those 3 in front, not performing to the best of their ability. Jay as well, he's flying high as Jay, getting a nosebleed up there in 6th place after 3 races, 32 points. Only 30 points off the lead, which isn't too bad considering it's 25 points for a win here. So anything can happen. BM Racing, don't think he's racing today. He may well be, don't know, he hasn't jumped in yet. So we won't see him out there today. Rooms jumped in last time, as I said, at Daytona for his first race. Already jumps up to 8th place after that fantastic win. So he will be vying for a win here today. And a win for him will put him just outside the top 3 with a real good opportunity for breaking into that top 3 in the last race. Now, we have Spa down as the last race. But that is very dependent on whether or not they fix the pit bug. If they don't, then obviously we'll find another track and we'll do it there. We'll find there are other 24-hour tracks available, so we'll find one there. We've got no Avalon. He's decided to sit this out. Grizz Troopers couldn't make it today. Cullum obviously is with us. He missed the race at Bathurst. Was back for Daytona. Good performance from him at Daytona. Good points, or 16 points for him there. He will be knocking on the door of that top 3 as well with a good performance. So it really is anybody's at the moment. Jersey didn't come back after race number 1. Hardwire didn't come back after Bathurst, and they're down at the bottom of the table along with Black Mamba, who did race at Daytona, but we didn't see him back. Obviously Bandit's back. He missed race number 1 and the race at Daytona, but he is back after he would join us from Bathurst and he's back again. So a points haul for him can take him up above those inactives into the active roster. There you go. So there is the runners and riders. Qualifying is about to start, I believe. Yeah, they are just beginning qualifying, and we'll jump in the room in a minute and have a look and see how the qualifiers are going. We know what this is about. This is about raising money for charity. But here is a quick run through the Nurbugring track. Didn't have time to do a proper track guide. This is basically, I just did it's like a group one race style, basically recorded. So the first part of the circuit uses the majority of the GP track. It cuts out a little bit right at the beginning, but down this section, this is firmly in that GP track. Big turn there at Dunlop. Takes you down a sweet round to this another big turn here. A big right-hander which will pull you back to go up the hill. It can pull you right, it can really bite you in the arse. GP track I don't mind, I'm quite happy with that. I'd like to say I don't like Auckland. I think that wouldn't be correct to say I don't like it. I haven't driven it enough to pass any real judgment on the quality of the racetrack. And to be fair, I don't think I've ever done a lap where I haven't been at this one. I mean, I'll do that on most tracks anyway. But I don't think I've ever had a relatively clean lap to speak of. But Quick One car's very quick here, a lot of grip in those cars. Everyone's got used to them, tyres of course, so interesting to see. If people opt for that strategy of putting on just one or two laps in the movement time. So that's where the GP track ends and where Green Hell begins. And it starts in this kind of stadium, kind of office stadium section, heading down the hill into forest. You see on a 24-hour race day, it's in across the side of the track all the way around behind those fences. But it's just a succession of sweeping left and right routes, taking you through deeper into this forest. There's quite a lot of property around. Really, that's quite. Bearing in mind, I'm sure it's not the first time driving racing games. I've driven it a few times. I've just never put any time into getting this lap up. It's 138 corners, and so that's the problem. It's 138 corners. So it's impossible to remember unless you drive it on a regular basis. It's so difficult to manage. The thing with this track is it is quite difficult to overtake. So you kind of rely on people around you kind of giving you what you're the first car. I think that's a sensible thing to do. If the car behind you is clearly quicker, clearly in that slipstream, sometimes it's beneficial just to let them through, tuck in behind, don't let a tire in behind anything and let them through. But I think the majority of overtakes are going to be he's going to be under slipstream. It's very unlikely to see any overtakes that are just trucked up the inside, and maybe the GP section if you're lucky, but I think the majority of overtakes are going to be either through mistakes, through good strategy, or just through sheer force. But it's a very, very long track. We're looking at about, and we will it's about 7 minutes of that, give or take, depending on pace, obviously. Now we'll go and have a look at they are just starting. Basically, it's going to be an hour and a half. Just a 15-minute qualifying session, which essentially means you're only getting one lap in, so it's about not pulling that lap up. And for me, I think your best bet, if you can't guarantee you're going to get a really super quick lap without overdriving the car, pushing too hard, then maybe just back off a little bit and guarantee yourself a half decent time, and then you're in a really good position to put something on board, to start you further up. But let's be fair, it's 3 hours of racing. There's always going to be opportunities. somewhere to do something. And you can see there how strong the skill string is. The cars were particularly, as a lot of these are hybrids, they've got the energy recovery in the electric part to give you a little horsepower boost. So that will obviously pay off in terms of straight line speed and bits and pieces like that. But these cars are very to be fair, it's a very, very beautiful restaurant. There's not much. I tell you when this place is not nice, it's when it's raining. Yeah, it looks great, but unforgiving. Absolutely unforgiving. Very likely to kill you. But when it's sunny like it will be in the race today, you're going to have to be. You've got to be very, very cold of heart to not appreciate the scenery, particularly on GT7, because for all of its faults, GT7 is stunning to look at. It's got problems with lollies and a number of different bugs that really piss us off. But in terms of the settings, it is absolutely stunning, and I think it recreates the beauty of places like Norsley very well. And you can see, you can feel the undulation and the lumps and the bumps and all the different changes in the tarmac and that kind of thing as you drive around here as well, which is really good. In terms of strategy, because it's not high tyre wear here today, I think soft tyres are the way forward. I haven't had a chance to see how many laps are getting out of those soft tyres, but I imagine they're getting quite a few, particularly in the hybrids. I think some of the cars are probably a little bit more abrasive than others, but it shouldn't be too bad. But so here we go. Let's jump into live views, because I think we're about to start seeing some hot laps coming in. So there we go. So we'll have a look at who's driving what. So Stormfly, he's in the Porsche 919 hybrid. That is a beautiful looking car. 2016 Le Mans car, of course. Wiggy has gone for the Toyota TS 050 hybrid, also 2016. TJ in that 919, and his qualifying shouldn't be overtaken on qualifying, so he's going to hope that Wiggy's going to be quicker than him, otherwise he's going to get stuck. That is bang out of order on a qualifying lap. That is bang out of order, absolutely bang out of order. They're both on a hot lap. They only get one hot lap. He should not have done that. Should have given himself the space. Sorry, buddy, you're going to get a penalty for that. Wherever you start on the grid, you're going to get a penalised for it. It's in the rules, man. That's a piss take. Because basically that's cost Wiggy time. We'll see though. I will pass judgment when I see the qualifying times. But if Wiggy doesn't out-qualify you, then there's going to be a penalty for you for that. Rooms has gone for that Peugeot 908, the 2010 Le Mans car. It's not a bad looking car, to be fair. It just looks a little, the front of it makes it look like something out of Robot Wars. Them things with the scoops that flip everybody up. That's what the front of it looks like. Fubar's gone for the LM55. Beautiful, beautiful car, that Mazda, and sounds fantastic. Absolutely love it. Looks like a skate ramp from the side, but no, it's probably one of the better looking Group 1 cars, that LM55. Colombia's gone for the GR010 hybrid. That's the newer version of the car that Wiggy's in. It is Wiggy, isn't it? Yeah, so that's the newer version of the one that Wiggy's in. That's the 2021 car. We've seen this before. We saw it on the GT Fusion, when they were the GT Fusion. That came out. I think you're right, Paul. I think the 919 does have the lap record around there. I will look it up. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. No, I'm with you on that. If this was a really, really short lap and it was a hot lap, then maybe. But it's unacceptable, especially because it's not like we can then go run another lap. They've only got one lap to set here. You have plenty of time across that, and it's It's 130 fucking corners. If you can't put a little bit of distance between the cars around you, then that's more. This is more about you than the person in front. And whether you're faster or not, you know, why would you compromise somebody else's qualifying because you feel you're a little bit faster? If you knew, you would have known at some stage that you were quicker than them in the outlap. So that's the point where you give yourself, you try and make the move then, or you just give yourself a gap. Just slow the fuck down a bit. So yeah, bang out of order. But we'll have a look and see where, how far Wiggy is off the pace. I mean, I saw what they were like in practice, so I'll see how far off the pace is and make a judgment on that. I think there will be a little penalty for that because it's a build-up mistake. And to be fair, it is written in the rules in black and white about no overtaking during qualifying unless you're overtaking a car on an outlap. Old man Jay, he's gone for that 919 hybrid as well. I think that seems to be the popular choice, of being that it's a pretty darn quick car. And Bandit has gone for the Audi R18. That's also the 2016 car. So there we go. So we know what everyone's driving now, so we don't need to do that anymore. In terms of sector times, we haven't got any real indication as to what they're chucking out sector-wise, but I think we're looking at a sub 7 minute lap, certainly. So it's going to be somewhere for me in the low 650s ish, there or thereabouts. Maybe a bit. We'll see. In terms of race pace, it's very difficult to tell until the race actually starts how quick they're going to be under racing conditions. Let's get some Coca-Cola rock and roller on board. So we're on board. Let's say that we're on board with Stormfly. I love the inside look of this car. I prefer that one though. That's a much better view. You can really see the undulations of the road. I mean, look at that. It is a stunning thing to look at. I mean, this, you really get that sense of speed here. It's utterly brilliant. And who needs a Gran Turismo movie when you've got this? You can literally watch this for 5 hours a day and not have to tolerate that stupid Lamborghini's face. He's literally done one decent film since time. Well, more than one if you count. If you count Pirates of the Caribbean as one film, which probably should be. That's all he's ever done in his career. Nothing else he's done has been any good. And let's face it, he was only good because he was good. Now he's going to ruin Gran Turismo for us by being in this stupid film. Thank you, PD, for spending all the money on a stupid film and not giving us really good lobbies. So there we go. That's my little rant over. I shouldn't really be ranting because we're doing this for charity, we're doing this for mine. There's 1 in 15 people will attempt suicide in their lifetime, and we're doing what we can to try and change it. And, you know, a couple of quid here and there, it really does make a difference. And the great thing about it is every single bit of your donation goes to charity. You know, there's no chuggers to pay, there's no fees to pay. So if you donate £10, they get £10, which is exactly how it should be when donating. So next time you see a chugger on a high street, tell us because they basically a chugger will earn a commission off a charity donation. If you sign up to do these kind of monthly payments to one of these chuggers, it is over a year before the charity see any of that money, because the chugger gets paid their commission and the company that they work for get paid their commission, and it isn't until after about the first year that the charity see any money. So if you make only 2 or 3 or 4 payments and then cancel that direct debit, the charity see nothing, not 1 penny. So don't give to chuggers, peeps. Give directly to charities, or through fundraisers like this, give directly to charities. So there we go. Time is about to be set as Stormfire crosses the line, and the representative time to beat is a 6:56.9. Now, TJ, is he going to put himself on pole after elbowing his way past Wiggy? And it looks to me like Rooms has also elbowed his way past him. Naughty, no overtaking on quali. 6:59.6. That puts him on the front row alongside Stormfly at this stage. Rooms, how quick is he? That's a 7:02.3 in that Peugeot. So he is a little bit off the pace, 5 seconds off the pace so far. So Stormfly into the pits. He's just going to wait this out. 6:56.9 is the target to beat. What did Wiggy get? He went into the pits before I could see, but he is 7.5 seconds off Arun's time in 4th place. Now that is definitely he definitely got hampered by being overtaken by TJ. I don't know how Arun's overtook him, whether he caught him on the way through as well. But I think there's going to have to be penalties dished out there, because that qualifying time is well down on what I would expect from him. Fubar with a 7:19.3. Kulum, it's still got a bit of a ways to go, as there's Old Man Jay and Bandits. Bandit looks to me that he's had a bit of a problem on the outlap, because his outlap was 8 minutes long. So here we go. Kulum's going to cross the line. His time will be a 7:42.4. So it's going to be a big battle up front between Stormfly and TJ, certainly for this today. Very close in terms of time, but top 3, all Dutch top 3 at the moment. So clearly they are big friends of the Nordschleife. There is Old Man Jay with a 7:27. 7:53.4 for him. He got 7:27. Where did that come from? Oh no, it was 7:27.1. That was very weird. Gave me a different time than I was expecting. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I think my computer's having a few problems, but it should be all right. There is a bit of lag on track as well, but it should be all right as we go on, mate. Yes, Old Man J 7:27.1. And Bandit, we're just waiting for him to come home. He's still got a ways to go, but he's at 7:42, so it's highly likely he will. It's highly likely. It's inevitable that he'd be at the very, very back of the pack in that Audi. Yeah, to be fair, if you are watching and racing at the same time, then you've achieved in life, especially if you're winning and watching at the same time. I know there was a couple watching in the F1 race last night that were watching while they were doing the formation lap, which I thought was quite an amazing feat. And there goes Bandit, does cross the line finally. That's an 8:17.7. So it's Stormfly TJ on front row, Runes and Wiggy on row 2, Fubar, Kulum row 3, Old Man J and Bandit on row 4. So the battle out front is going to be pretty darn racy. Only 0.04 of a second difference between Stormfly and TJ's time. Runes just 5.4 seconds off that. Wiggy had his lap a little bit hampered. He had his lap a little bit hampered by, certainly by TJ. We saw TJ muscling his way through on the hot lap, which you can't be doing. But Arun's also at some stage got past Wiggy. Now we don't know whether Wiggy had an off and he came in, or whether something else happened. But we will. We'll discuss it after the race. But I am going to put it to the stewards that there should be a penalty for overtaking during. In fact, I think it's a fixed penalty. It's overtaking during qualifying is a no-go. We've got it written in the rules. It should be a fixed penalty. There's no point arguing about it. If you get penalty, you won't freaking do it again, will you? Will you? No, exactly. So, just waiting for the race to start. Qualifying is done. We've got 8 runners. 400 is perfectly enough. Just. To be fair, though, if he hadn't have been muscling his way past other drivers to overtake in qualifying, he might have been a little bit quicker than that, because he did get held up a bit behind Wiggy. But that's his own fault. Simple as. That's his own problem. No one has to blame but himself, because he didn't give himself enough space on the racetrack. So if he was quicker and he could have got pole, he kicked himself in the teeth. So we're just waiting for the rest. I think everyone's going to have a quick 5-minute break, just to get a pee on and get a drink on and get ready. It's going to be 3 hours around here. I'm going to have to find something to talk about for 3 hours. 8 very fast cars going around Nordschleife for 3 goddamn hours. But yeah, let's have a little talk about why we do this.
Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
A donation of £20 could help 167 people take their first steps in getting mental health support through Minds booklets.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
£40 could help keep Mind's supportive online community side by side, open for another hour, helping to connect people and feel less alone. Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
So there you go. That's why we're doing what we're doing with these endurance events. Although to be fair, we've enjoyed these endurance events so much, we are going to have a full endurance competition to brighten up your day. It will be I think it's either 2 or 3 hours. I can't remember. I've got the details in front of me of racing that we will be doing over. Let's have a look. I think I've got it here. I haven't got the tracks up yet. It's going to be called Staying Power. It's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 tracks. It's going to be Suzuka Spa, St Croix, Bathurst, Yamagiwa, Fuji, Allsace Village, Watkins Glen. Don't know why that's on an endurance track. I like Watkins Glen, but 3 hours around there, you're going to want to bang your face off a wall, surely. Monza, and then a special event to be arranged. It's probably going to be Nordschleife, to be fair. But we will see what we will see. That's going to be coming up. We haven't sorted out the dates for that yet, but it will be probably starting at some point in January, once we've got the other bits and pieces out of the way. Other stuff coming up on Black Flag, we've got GR4 Lottery returns on Monday, as you would expect. Race is about to begin, of course, so let's get in there. We are ready to go. Yes, we've got that. TJ, the penalty is because you barged past Wiggy on his hot lap, which cost him time. But I will chat to him after and see how he feels about it. But there's no overtaking in qualifying, and you've got 7 minutes to build a gap, mate. You shouldn't have been overtaking and messing with other people's qualifying. And the irony of it is that you were looking really, really quick, and that 400th of a second you missed out on, you probably would have made if you left yourself a gap. But a great start from Stormfly, great start from Fubar, right up into 3rd place already, and TJ trying to make a move on the first corner, but Stormfly just stays ahead. It's a little bit feisty as we start this race here at Nurbugring. Lost my ability to speak then, but there we go, Stormfly in the lead of this race, just from TJ, who is running in 2nd place. Wiggy up to 3rd. Fubar had a good start, he's in 4th place at the moment. Rooms didn't have a great start at all. He was a bit higher up than when he was 3rd, I think, initially, but he's now down in 5th place with 1.3 seconds behind Fubar already. And old man Jay crawling all over the back of him in this early stage here. Now, tactic-wise, what's everyone going to do? Anyone starting on the medium tyres? Yes, at Room. But he started on those medium compound tyres, so he's planning on going as long as possible before he changes them out. Obviously, he's going to be limited by how long the fuel lasts as well. Colum also burning off those mediums early doors. Jay gone with a different strategy this time. First 3 races, he has pitted the end of that one and got rid of his medium tyres at the end of the first lap, so he didn't have to use them. Didn't really work out too well from the Daytona, which might explain why he's changed the strategy for this race here. And I really hate it when the game BGM music stays on during the race. It's really freaking annoying. I hate it. Takes away from the sound and it's absolute massive lag fest. What happened there? But it's so in the lead, Stormfly 1.3 seconds now is his lead. TJ wasn't initially putting him under a bit of pressure, but wasn't able to get past him, and now see Stormfly disappearing off up into the distance. But it's a long race. It's 3 hours of racing here, so plenty to be getting on with. We are only 2 minutes in. That's the view from TJ's car. He can see that car still fly up ahead. He's only in 1 second. So, so many different sectors here, so many different types of corners, that at some stage there's going to be parts of the racetrack where one is quicker than the other and vice versa. And you can see here that the gap is just coming down a little bit through that slower section, but it is opening up again 1.4 seconds. So the distance obviously between the cars will be significantly different depending on the sort of part of the track. On the long straight, it's sort of flat out. You'll see those cars, the distance between them opening right out. And then when they're in the sections like this, where you've got a lot of braking zones, you'll see them closing up or look a lot closer, despite the fact that the gap is 1 second. But they're already, and that was that slide there from Stormfly. Maybe not. It was a mistake there from TJ because he just slowed up a little bit and lost a bit of time. That gap is out to 2 seconds, now 2.1 seconds. That's put Wiggy right in the firing line there, and really good opportunity for him to try and get his own back and have a little dig on the way through to thank him for the little dig during qualifying. And that would be something. As I said, we will make a judgment on the penalty at the end of the race, but it should be a fit penalty. Why do you need to? You don't need to overtake on qualifying. There is plenty of space in the racetrack. Not when you're on a hot lap anyway, so it's just not fair. But shackles. Anyway, so there is Wiggy's 1.4 seconds back. Couldn't maintain, or couldn't capitalise really on that little error from TJ, and is 1.5 seconds back. For some reason, this view is very choppy. The other views don't seem to have the same problem. There is Fubar. That car looks awesome, doesn't it? It looks like something that must be taken to Mars. He is 3.6 seconds back from Wiggy. He's already found himself a little niche gap on the racetrack. 4 seconds clear of a room. Remember, Rooms is on the medium compound tyre. So he is... now... The question is he going to run this tyre until it's gone, or is he going to just dive in and get rid early doors? That's quite interesting. Because a few people have tried that tactic, and it doesn't always work, but it may well work. Bearing in mind it's a 7-minute lap, so you're not going to cost yourself a huge amount of time in the pit lane in comparison to how long the actual race is. I'm wondering if it's the colours of the car. I mean, that car is really, really choppy. Absolutely no problem with that one. So, Colum from Canada, he's in that Toyota hybrid. That's the newer version of the hybrid, I think. Wiggy in the older one. That's the 2021 version. He's off the racetrack, and there's your first overtake. Old man Jay up into 6th of Colum, makes a mistake. It looks like Bandit's having a nightmare in that Audi. And just seems these Audi race cars don't perform very well on the GT games. No, they weren't too shabby on GT Sport, to be fair, but I found on GT7 they're not great. And I don't really know what the answer is to that. But he's 51 seconds back at the moment. Still loads to do, still loads to race for, no doubt about that. But at this early stage, 51 seconds back is not a place you want to be in. That is a beautiful shot. Look at that, coming down this super long back straight here, and we've got Wiggy tucked right in behind TJ. Is this move on? He's in that slipstream, just trying to find a way through, but it's so narrow, so tricky, and TJ survives that onslaught. But here we go down to complete lap 1. If we can get in this slipstream, can he make a move into turn 1? Or can he make a move past TJ where he got barged out of the way on qualifying? so not close enough to make a move there. What happened to Stormfly? Stormfly's had a problem, and that has allowed TJ up into the lead. That's allowed Wiggy through. How close is Fubar to catching up with him? Did Fubar have a problem there as well? 3.4 seconds. Wiggy makes the move up into the lead of this race. Did TJ have a little error as well? So all change. The leader is now Wiggy. Remember, Stormfly was comfortably ahead while Wiggy and TJ were battling, and all of a sudden, one little error on lap 2, and you're losing concentration this early in the race. You've got to try and get it back in, and so you're kind of focused, because this is a 3-hour race out there today, and under 10 minutes you're already making errors. Need to kind of to get them out of your race as soon as possible. We opened up a gap 2.3 seconds. He's got clear air, and he's not afraid to use it, and off he goes up the road. I love the way that car looks like it's got a Mohican. It's awesome. To be fair, all these Group 1 cars are awesome looking cars. And great fun to drive as well. Track on, they are great fun to drive. I'm surprised actually a lot of people. You don't see many people racing Group 1 cars. So it's all Group 3 and Group 4 all the time. There needs to be more Group 1, more Group 2 things like that. Keeping the throat wet because it can be 3 hours of talking. What is the time? It is 10 minutes to 8. Or if you're in the Netherlands and you're telling the time the TJ way, it's 1 hour and 10 minutes to 9 o'clock. So Wiggy in the lead, 2 seconds clear in that Toyota Hybrid. TJ still in second place, but lost out to the guy behind him when Stormfly was second to Stormfly. Stormfly makes the error, and the guy behind him in third just nicks up in front of him, and he's still running in second, but this time chasing down a different car here on lap 2 at the green hell that is Nordschleife and GP track together, the Nurbugring 24-hour circuit. Now it is a 24-hour day-night cycle. We're starting in the afternoon, so we will see the light fade at some stage, and that's when it will start to separate the men from the boys. Because in the dark around Nordschleife, you really need to have your wits about you. Really do, because it's hard enough to dial in a lap round here in the daylight, to spot those braking points without any sort of aids of lights or anything like that. Obviously you've got lights on your car, but they're the only ones you've got. You haven't got any lights alongside the racetrack. But there we go, it's what it is. Stormfly running in third place after his little error in the GP section of the racetrack on lap 2. So he's got some work to do. He's 3.8 seconds back from Wiggy, 2.3 back from TJ, who he was in front of at this time last lap. 9 seconds back. That's Fubar Philantis. He is running in 4th place, and he's got this space on the racetrack. The rooms is 2.4 seconds behind him. You can't really see him, just that little speck there. He'll need a straight through. You can really see that, but there he is. You can just see a rooms coming round that corner behind. So some work for him to do if he wants to close up that gap. And there he comes in. He's in that Peugeot. I'm not sure how quick that Peugeot is in terms of the comparison to the other, certainly the other Group 1 cars. I think the Audi and the Peugeot are probably the slowest. Don't hold to that, I'm not an expert. Old man Jay got himself up to 6th place when Colum had a little wobble. He's 27 seconds back behind Colum, but Colum is 14 seconds behind. So Jay has a lovely little niche on the racetrack at the moment. Just about keeping it consistent, keeping it on the racetrack, not overdriving the car, and whatever you do, don't lose it. It's going to get difficult, it's going to get treacherous when the light fades, and that's the point where you want to have kind of dialed in that muscle memory and kind of have the track down but you can kind of almost do it without opening your eyes. So you kind of feeling your way around the racetrack. So this is the point where you ramp up. You don't push too hard at this stage. Just ramp it up, lap after lap after lap. There is Colombia. We saw him going off the racetrack, allowing Old Man J to get through. He is starting to cut into that benefit that Old Man J made, which is 10 odd seconds. But Bandit at the back now, 1 minute 19 off. Really, really struggling pace-wise. His lap one was almost a minute slower than anybody else. So really, really bad first lap for Bandit. And already you can see that in that zone, he's in the 919 hybrid. No, it's not. Sorry, I'll tell you. I know he's not. He's in the Audi R18. So is that a problem with the car, or is that just Bandit not really knowing the racetrack? I mean, I personally think it's a car. Bandit's a better driver than that time would suggest. It's not a wonderful car, that Audi, unfortunately. I think he brought a knife to a gunfight. 1.8 seconds, that's Wiggy's lead at the moment, and Stormfly really closing down on the back of TJ. Is TJ going to be the big loser here? Through no real fault of his own, to be fair. He plodded along nicely in second, and they are side by side. Stormfly making that move. Who's got the biggest kahunas? How long do they hold this out? And Stormfly has to back out. TJ did not want to give it up. Stormfly did just that. He knew they couldn't go too abreast through that corner, but he is tucked behind him again, and there's going to be another opportunity coming down into turn one. These two are fighting already, and we're only 14 minutes into this 3-hour endurance race. TJ up the inside. He does hold that line, defends very well. Good turn there from Stormfly, and he catches him. He's going to wait for him. He's got to wait for him. TJ's got to come through. What's TJ doing? Is he getting back on the track? He is. And Stormfly does wait for him because he caught him. Lets him back through, and we're back underway and racing again. And the room's just getting rid of those medium compound tyres. I think that's a good shout, buddy. I think that's a good shout. Get rid of them early here. He's got rid of them. He's on the soft compound tyres. He had a big enough gap, which allowed him to get back out in the same position. So he is running in 5th place behind, 25 seconds behind Fubar. Now, Fubar has been banging on the door of the top 3 for ages. And we talked about this at Bathurst. He was so close at Bathurst and just missed out. And again, you know, he's 4.7 seconds off that top 3. And to be fair, the way they're racing out in front of him, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to make up. But if there's a problem, or a disconnection or a crash, he's only 4.8 seconds off there. And you never know. I mean, in terms of fuel, everyone seems to be burning around the same amount. And that actually come together between TJ and Stormfly has been a massive, massive boom for Wiggy, because that has allowed him to open up a 7-second gap. He's got the fastest lap with a 6:58.9. I imagine there's probably a second or two in there in terms of pace, but 7.2 seconds clear. Now, the great thing about this now, he doesn't have to, start opening up a massive gap. He's been gifted a good 7 second, 8.7 seconds now. As Stormfly and TJ still battling it out, and all this is doing, this battling between them two is doing nothing but giving Wiggy some impetus out in front. Now, is Stormfly going to be able to pull away now he's got past TJ, or is TJ going to stick with him? I have a feeling these two are going to be battling for the whole of this 3 hours. And I tell you what, if they're not tired at the end of that, I'll be very, very surprised. Stormfly was a little bit slower last lap than TJ, but that would be because they're coming together. Stormfly didn't spin, didn't they? Which made things a little bit harder. So they've had a little come together, these two already. We saw TJ have come together with Wiggy in qualifying. We saw Stormfly having to come together with TJ in the race. That was Stormfly's error, but he did hang back. He did wait for TJ to get the car back under control and go racing again. Oh, he nearly lost it there, TJ, and that's given him a bit more work to do now. That gap is 1.3 seconds. Very nearly got a bit too squirrely and lost that car. That's a pretty short that car. Not transferring well to the street. choppy. You know what it is about these cars? And a little clip of the wall, that's not going to do him any favours either. But the gap back to Fubar, there it is, 6.7 seconds. So at the moment he's best in the rest, and he's kind of holding on. Quite well there. Yeah, he's got Rooms 23 seconds behind him. Remember, Rooms has already got rid of those medium compound tyres. That's something that's going to be key later on, because everybody else except for Kulum, who's currently on those medium tyres, still has medium tyres to run. Now, how long they run it for or what their strategy is, we don't know yet. We don't know whether they're just going to do a little slash and dash right at the end just to get them used and done, or whether they have a distinct strategy with those tyres involved. But whatever happens, the thing is, Rooms is in a better position than they are, because he doesn't have to use that less grippy medium compound tyre now. He can pretty much go racing on those softs, knowing that he can change out the softs any time he likes. And that's the only one he has to run. So maybe, just maybe, towards the tail end of this race, this strategy is going to work out. He got the strategy spot on at Daytona. Does he get it spot on again here at Nordschleife? We'll find out later on in the race. But at the moment he's running in 5th place, 23 seconds back. He did a 7:11 lap run, 7:17.6. But that includes pit stop. Old man Jay fastest lap, 7:26.9. He's 32 seconds back from the Rooms. He was gifted 6th place when Kulum had a little off. And old man Jay off the track there, just cutting out grass, and has to let go of the accelerator to avoid that car getting spun out. So that's going to have cost him a bit of time. And the gap to Kulum now only 6 seconds, and that is already coming down below, I think below 5 seconds by the time we adjust for that, and it's 4.8 seconds, 4.7, 4.6. It is absolutely closing in, and so much time lost by going on the grass there for old man Jay. And Kulum can see that coming down, and there is his target just ahead. There you can see him. That's who he's after. Old man Jay just ahead of him. And old man Jay just got to get his head down. Just don't panic. Drive your race. In terms of lap times, there's not much in it between. There's only a couple of seconds between you. So you can stay ahead of him. And at the end of the day, he is in the position he has to pass. Hello, how you doing? Good to see you, buddy. Yes, Kulum is the one that has to pass. He has to make the move. Here is probably not the best place to do it. It's a very, very tricky section to overtake. But there will be opportunity when they've got this very long straight run. So you can get within that 1 second mark in that slipstream with a little bit of energy saved. You can make that move. Remember, this is a hybrid, so there is a little bit of electrical energy to help them on their way. But that gap is sort of holding now at sort of 2.8, 2.9 seconds. Bandit's not having a great day at the office. 8.19 is a couple of really bad laps there. I'm going to put that down to this just being an awful car he's having. The Audi R8's not great either. We actually renamed it during, I can't remember, I think it was GR3 competition, a bag of spanners. It was that bad. The Audi R8 just wasn't a very good car at all. And I've got to say, obviously in real life they're decent cars, but on the game they just haven't got the performance that you would expect at this kind of level of race car. There is Wiggy, there is your leader. 5.5 seconds is the gap. Stormfly has eaten a little bit of that gap away now in closing the control button. That's what I wanted to look at. He's opened up from Fubar up into 3rd. So what happened to TJ? 7.16.7. He's had an error somewhere. That's cost him some time. And he's now 4 seconds back from Fubar, who's made up the deficit. What was it? 6 seconds, I think it was the difference. He's made up the deficit. He's into that top 3. So is this the top 3 that Fubar thoroughly deserved over the last couple of months, definitely, in terms of performance? Does he finally get the opportunity? Look, we've got plenty of racing left to do. we're not even in half an hour into this 3-hour race, but Fubar in a good position at the moment. TJ with clearly a mistake to drop him back that far out. So again, it's the same as I said for old man Jay. When he just kind of settle in. You know what you've got to do. You know you're quick around here. Just don't overdrive it. Take your time. Relax, man. Your lead at 4.1 seconds now is that gap. The Stormfly starting to close in. Wiggy still has the fastest lap. That was a 6:57.6. But it looks that this lap Stormfly is just upping the ante. His last lap was his fastest at 7:01.4. Obviously don't count the first lap because it's from the line. But he is up. He is purple and he is up on that time. We'll see just how far up when they cross the line in about 4 minutes time. There it is, 4.5 minutes time. But the gap, 3.8 seconds. That's what he's chasing down. 3.8 seconds. How much of that is he going to eat on this lap? Remember, this is a long racetrack. We're only on lap 4, 23 minutes into this race. So still plenty of racing to be done. It's what, five laps for half an hour, so 10 for an hour. So essentially we're looking at 30 laps over the 3 hours. Quite reasonable. That's a good solid sector time as well. And we can see that gap coming down. 3 seconds now is the gap to Wiggy. And that is not where you put the race car if you are chasing down the leader. And we'll see that time opening out a little bit. 4.2, 4.3 seconds maybe. It does get back up to speed relatively quickly, but that's cost him some time. And we can breathe a sigh of relief. But what can we do at this stage? If the car behind you is just going that much quicker, and you're on the edge as it is, what can you do? I suppose you can plan out how you're going to defend and where you're going to stop and getting through. But certainly there's got to be something going through your mind. Where can you find some extra pace? It's a long racetrack. Is there a part of this racetrack where I feel that I can gain some time? And when will I get there, and how will I gain that time? And how will I stop that car behind me getting past when they do finally catch me? And the way this is coming down, you have to wonder, it's not going to be at some point on this lap that Stormfly catches up with Wiggy. And he's maxed out in that car, 177 miles an hour. It's not the fastest top speed. And I think here we'll see Wiggy just making those lines there. The gap's still coming down. Didn't see what Wiggy's top speed, we should have looked at that actually. What's Fubar's? See, there's a bigger top speed down at LM55. He's also gone purple. He's into that same braking zone we just saw there. That gap is 12 seconds. 1.8 seconds behind his TJ. You can see him. He is hunting Fubar down, as is Stormfly hunting down Wiggy. There's going to be a little error there, which is just going to fly. You just see in the skies ahead the sunset beginning to head our way as we head into early evening, and this is going to be a thing of beauty once again. Look at those caravans on that left-hand side. How cool that looks. One of those right now watching the racing with a beer in your hand. Into the return section of this racetrack. So you've got the GP track section all the way out, all the way through the woods, and here we are returning back towards the GP track, and you see it becoming more and more like a sort of purposeful racetrack. The closer we get, it's not like country lanes further in, but the closer you get back to the racetrack, the more it starts to look like a racetrack. And purple again for Stormfly, although the gap is now out to 5.9 seconds. So those couple of errors really cost him some time. And Wiggy just starting to ramp up the pace out in front. So is that what he did? Was he holding back a little bit? Looking at tyre wear, I don't think anyone's really struggling too much with the wear on the tyres. About a quarter of a tank of fuel used for pretty much everybody, give or take a litre or 2 here or there. Not much difference in fuel consumption, and tyres almost identical. The only real difference, to be fair, is when we look at those on the medium compound tyres on the so everybody who's on the mediums is now, there is Coulomb still on those medium tyres. The wear's not that much different on those mediums than it is on the softs. In fact, I could argue, looking at Jay's tyres, that his are a little bit better off, his are softer than the medium tyres of Coulomb. That could be down to pace equipment. I think Coulomb is ahead of him now, 21 seconds ahead of him. So here we go. So he didn't that. Stormfly just couldn't close down and on Wiggy for that lap. So let's go on board and do a lap with Wiggy all the way around. And I think we'll do that for every driver. If we do a kind of an on-board lap and see them travel around. And we'll go for Wiggy. I return, and what a time to return, just as the light is fading on the day. And Wiggy coming up towards the sort of midpoint of this lap. And his last lap was a 56.5, which is showing almost a 1 second improvement lap to lap to lap. Stormfly though, last lap, 6:55.8, as Wiggy spins there in that section, and that will allow Stormfly through. Stormfly takes the lead of this race, and what a place to spin, and how difficult is that to get yourself back and right it again. TJ back ahead of Fubar since I've been away. We said we'd do a follow board. We're going to continue this lap with him, and then we'll go back through the field to see what is going on. But TJ has made his way ahead of Fubar again, up into that top 3. Was that an error or was that an overtake? That's a really interesting question. I'm going to put that back on now since we've seen some of the telemetry. But that's a big blow there for Wiggy. That's cost him 7.2 seconds. Well, more than that, he was a few seconds ahead as well. So that's given Stormfly a really, really big gap and a lot of impetus. We'll find out at the end of this lap just how much time that's cost me. We're just watching the light fade from the day. And that's it, as I said, as it gets dark, that's when things are going to start to look very different. And, the parts of this racetrack are going to be darker than others because of the tree cover. And, obviously because the sun moves in different directions. And they're sort of heading back towards the brighter part of the circuit. And it's really, really on the edge here. And that's always going to potentially cost you time if you just go over that line, you just go past that edge. And we saw what happens. You spin your car and the cars behind you come streaming on through. But listen, this is only 5 laps in. I thought it was going to be between 28 and 30 laps, I think, depending on time, of course. So plenty to get on with. I just saw the windscreen wipers going in, and it shouldn't be raining. Lights being flashed on and off. What's going on there? I think he was trying to find the button actually. That's it, he's found the button, turned his lights on. I think he was fiddling around with all the ones, trying to find the right one to get those lights switched on. And as he comes into this final section, heading towards the stadium, and you can see it there, that's the pit lane on the right hand side, at least for the Grand Prix track it is anyway. And he heads through, that's a 7:08.4, so it's cost him over 12 seconds really. He had a really good gain, which has been taken away from him as well. So there we go, Stormfly leads this race now, 6.7 seconds. Last lap was a 56.6, previous lap 65.8. And it's really, really getting dark now as you see those lights flashing as he comes through. Wiggy 7 seconds back, 13 seconds back to TJ. Got himself back up into that top 3. Fubar was in the top 3, but only briefly. He's now back down in 4th place, but again has that nice, comfortable gap in that LM55. And is it the light fading that's going to really start to change people's fare here? Wasn't a great lap actually from Fubar last time. He's done a 7:01.5, but lap 4, lap 5 was 7:08 and a 7:10. So that's definitely cost him time. TJ has just done his fastest lap of the race with a 6:56.0. So it's starting to dial it in. The darker it gets, the better he sees him again. So maybe he should just shut his fucking eyes in the first 4 laps. Rooms. He is very erratic in terms of times, but to be fair, because it's such a long lap, 7-minute lap, it's going to be hard to be incredibly consistent. If you look at Wiggy and Stormfly, they're probably as close as you're going to get to any sort of level of consistency. There's only 17 seconds difference between his quickest and his slowest lap, and over the course of a 7-minute lap, that's nothing really. That's like the difference of a sort of second maybe on a normal sized track. There's Coulomb. His fastest lap is a 7:19.8. He's a 1 minute 34 seconds back from Arooms. Coulomb, of course, joining us from the Amigos racing team. and Canada. He's running in 6th place with Old Man J 16.4 seconds behind him. His fastest lap was a 7:26.9. So about 30 seconds. So these guys are between 20 and 30 seconds off the pace of the front runners. Stormfly Wiggy are doing sort of steady mid 50, 55, 56s, 57s maybe. TJ's down in them 56s now. Fubar just 5 seconds off that pace. Rooms, he's only 5 seconds off that pace now. So will he be putting himself to contention? Will there be a battle between him and Fubar later on in the race as a Room starts to ramp this up in that Peugeot? Kulum, his fastest at 7:19, it's about 20 seconds off the front runner pace. And Old Man J's very similar time, just 7:19 for him. So that's again similar, 20 seconds off that pace. And it was actually quite a bit faster than Kulum on that lap. 7:26 for Kulum, and it was 7:19 for Old Man J. So a little bit of that gap brought down to 10 seconds. Bandit having an absolutely awful day at the office. He's brought the wrong car, that's what the problem is. He's brought that Audi R18, which it just isn't working. Just isn't working. And he bins it into the wall, which is so easy to do in the dark here. And it's going to be very difficult to see these cars now. Now we head into night time. So let's go on board. We're going to lap on board with Wiggy. Let's go on board with Stormfly and see how he chucks this car around this beautiful, beautiful racetrack. And let's get a flag. That will be for that's for Bandit, who's stricken inside on the road, having a bad day at the office as Bandit. So 8.4 seconds. That's his gain at the moment. That's how far ahead he is of Wiggy. Gifted obviously back into first place. Well, to be fair, he was going a bit. But Gifted that first place with Wiggy spin. And around this point in the racetrack, Wiggy had his spin, and that allowed Stormfly just to whiz on through and regain the lead of this race. But mistake from him. He's on the grass. Does he get it back under control? How much time is he going to lose there? Certainly not as much as Wiggy had lost previously, but we'll see that time start to come down. He does get the car back under control, but it just goes to show just how easy it is to make a mistake, especially when the light starts to fade here, and your brake points are going to change. The temperature of the track is going to evolve. It's so much harder when it gets to this part of the race, the race when it's dark. To get the car just as dialed in with that kind of pace. Lost somewhere around 4.5 seconds. So we're within the 3-second margin now. Can maybe close that up. And I think you're going to need to get most of your quick stuff done. Driving any track in the dark sucks, but this one's particularly bad because there's just no, apart from when you get into the stadium section, there is literally no light anywhere but from your car. I mean, if we zoom out of the car, you literally can't see a fucking thing. I mean, to be fair, that's a great shot there, but you can't see a thing. That's it. That's all you can see. And if we go back to Wiggy's car, we look ahead. Obviously, his lights are a bit easier for him to see. That view there, so you know there's a car behind you, you can see the lights, and sparks just being chucked out. That's brilliant. Every time I want to criticise PD for the little shitty things they do in this game, and it chucks up little details like that, you just have to go, fuck me, that looked good. And it did, it looked brilliant. But Stormfly, there we go, he's into the stadium section. Now we've got some light, now we can actually see the cars. He comes through. Tell me about it, mate. I can't drive when there is light, let alone when it's dark. I can't even find my brake points when when it's perfectly sunny and they're written on the bloody road for me. But there we go. So Stormfly is in the lead of this race. It's 2.9 seconds. His 7-second lead cut when he flew off on the grass and did a little spin. He almost did a spin and lost himself some time, which of course he gained in the first place because Wiggy had a spin himself on the previous lap. So we are lap 7. Only lap 7. This just showed. I mean, I'm going to check because I'm pretty sure it's 130 odd corners at Nurbugring. But I'm going to have a look anyway. But you know, it's a 7-minute lap, so we're not going to get a huge amount of laps done in the 3 hours. But I tell you what, it is an amazing racetrack. There's not much more you can say. Track record. That's what I wanted to look up. I wanted to look up who's got the track record. Try and find a second. Records. Obviously wins by driver, wins by manufacturer. A list of your shift lap times. So. Chicane added. Just trying to find the latest bikes are quick around there, that is very quick. Right. Let's have a look. I'm trying to find this class of car around here. And find the correct key for that. The Porsche 911, it's done some pretty quick lap times around here. 2021, the Hyundai Elantra did it at 8:53. The Dodge Viper GTS on the 6th of April 2002 did it in 7:20. That's bloody quick for that particular. So Audi R8 LMS did it in 7:57. Right, so Nordschleife itself, this is not with the GP track. So the overall record, it's not this track, it's on Nordschleife itself, is with that Porsche 919 Evo. And it was so this full layout with a 519.5. Bear in mind that didn't have the GP track, that's just the Nordschleife. And Stormfly spins, Wiggy goes through. What a great overtake that was from him. So mistake from, just goes to show you, every mistake can bring about change, big change. And there it is, Wiggy back into the lead of this race. And it just took a little wobble from Stormfly, and in goes Wiggy. And this darkness here at Green Hell really causing problems. So while I'm busy looking up lap times, it's all going off in front of me. Really should get this stuff up before. But Paul, if you are still there, mate, just to confirm you are right, the 919 does hold the lap record, although that's not on this particular layout, it's on the Nordschleife layout without the additional 24-hour pieces. And it's a 5-minute lap. Yeah, so the Dodge Viper is the quickest on this particular layout with a 7. Well, slower than these guys are doing it. Certainly slower than these guys are doing it. But yeah, it's pretty darn quick for a Dodge Viper. So 1.7 seconds now is Wiggy's lead over Stormfly. Let's go further back. Let's have a look at the Bandits in the pits. How long has he been in the pits for? Quite a long time. It looks to me that he just had enough. He didn't have a very good lap on lap 5, 10-minute lap. So the Audi just not working out for Bandit, and he's quitting himself out at this stage by sitting in the pits. So, wrong car, my friend, wrong car. Klum is behind old man Jay. There is a penalty for Jay, it's a 1 second penalty. Colum closing down. Is he going to make this move here? Does make the move, and he makes it stick, and he makes it clean, and absolutely flies past him there. So up into 6th place goes Colum. He's on the medium compound tyre, but he will have to change that out, but won't have to use it again. 2 minutes though, next man up the road, that's a Rooms. A Rooms with a view. A Rooms is all alone at the moment. It's 4.1 seconds. So he is starting. He's starting to close down on those cars ahead. Bear in mind that he pitted very early. He pitted at the end of that turn, got rid of those medium compound tyres. No intention of running them for any length of time. And has just started to ramp up the pace. He's gone sub 7 minutes with a 6:58.8. And that has allowed him to close the gap on Fubar down to 2 seconds. And there is that LM55 of Fubar just up ahead. You can just see it rounding that corner ahead as the Rooms is trying to close down on him. I love the inside of this car, it's ridiculous. There is Fubar, that heads up display in the LM55. He's 15 seconds now back from TJ. He's not been able to recreate anywhere near his fastest lap was a 7:01.5, which he did on lap number 2. And apart from his 7:02 on lap 3, he hasn't really been able to recreate that kind of pace. Whereas TJ up ahead is firmly under 7 minutes now, 56 and 59. So he's starting to find some pace in the dark, and especially as the fuel drops off as well, these cars will get faster. But we're looking at tyres now. Let's remove that banner for you. The bottom so you can see what happens in terms of tyre wear. So we're looking at Wiggy out front, and Wiggy, no real tyre wear to speak of in that 919 hybrid. He's in the 919. No, he's not. He's in the Toyota. We're talking about in the Toyota. Not really anything to speak of. He can go until his fuel runs out before those tyres need changing. Stormfly should be alright on tyres, although his front left looking a little bit ropey in comparison. It may be a case of just nursing that for the last few laps. And Bandit has finally given up and left the room. It always causes problems when people jump in and out of lobbies, that's the only problem. My feelings on rage quitting are clear. I've never want to hold back on that. It's a fucking shitty thing to do. Just, if you're in the race, stick it out. Whether just because it's not going well for you, it doesn't mean you should fucking quit. I understand sometimes things go on and you leave. You need to leave. But you pick the wrong car. Oh, wrong there for Stormfly. He got that very wrong. Is that going to bring TJ into contention again? So Wiggy gets a nice big gap now. It's 8 seconds, 9 seconds. It's going to open up to about 10 or 12 seconds I would have thought with that little mistake. I think. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Another mistake. Are these tyres just not? I saw that. Saw that reset to track. How far back did it reset you? Too bloody far by the looks of it. That's a massive, massive blow, that reset to track, which is why we're supposed to turn that off, because it is freaking awful. We should have it turned off. But it's done that. 14 seconds now, massive, massive blow for Stormfly with that. That's giving TJ only 12-second deficit now. So can he start to close up? He had a bad lap on lap 7, 7:10 for him, which is giving Fubar with his 7:01.9, well, 7:01.1, his fastest lap of the race actually, that was. Just closed up a little bit. So it's all action at the moment. Wiggy now 15 seconds clear. Stormfly had a couple of incidents, got reset back to track, and those track resets are freaking awful. They bear no resemblance to anything kind of fair. And let's be honest, you go off the track, you don't have a fucking reset on the track. It should basically just you have to make your own fucking way down the track. Just turn the thing off. In my humble opinion. I was talking about rage quit. Let's not do that. It's not going to it. It is what it is. He's left his rage quit. I didn't really, to be fair, I didn't quite know the rules. So he's left, but the other problem is when you leave the lobby, it can cause problems. It doesn't seem to have caused too many problems this time out, and hopefully that we don't have any issues at all. But quick run through. Wiggy, 15 seconds clear of Stormfly, who's had a bad lap this lap. 12 seconds is the gap back to TJ in third place. TJ is running in that. That's the Fubar Philantis. There is Phil. He's in fourth place in that LM55. 11.6 seconds gap to TJ. But you know, at one stage I was lauding about Fubar being in the top three and potentially having an opportunity to take a podium today. But this is happening, and Arooms has already been in the pits once, changed out those. Oh, you've had a power shaft. No, that's because you were in the pits for ages, and then okay. I thought you did, mate, because I saw you stopped in the pit for ages, and then you left the room after about 5 minutes. But obviously, when you power cut, it left you in the room for no reason. Apologies for that. So anyway, Rooms, yes, he had on the medium tyres early doors, swapped them out on lap 2, and has started to go racy Rooms. And he's closing down on the back of Fubar. 2 seconds, that's the gap. It was way bigger than that. His last lap was a 58.2. He is going around about 3 seconds a lap quicker than Fubar at the moment, so should be all over him like some Lynx Africa on a teenage boy on Christmas Day, very soon. Next, 2 minutes back, there's a separate battle going on here. It's Cologne from Canada and Old Man Jade from United Kingdom. They are in 6th and 7th respectively. 12.3 seconds back to Old Man Jade, both on the. I say they're both, well, not both on the. Column's on the medium tyre. His fastest lap is at 7:19.8. Old Man Jade 7:19.8. 8:18.75. 8:61. So Old Man Jade had the fastest lap, but Colum just seemed to have the consistency, a lot more consistency in the lap times there. But Jay has been faster. Interesting. Very interesting. That's good data to have, actually. It's good to see that the Old Man Jay can mix into his pace. So what we do know is it's consistency when he's holding you back there. No, look at that steering. But Old Man Jay will stay in there. You never know what's going to happen. Colum, though, will be in a slightly better position that he is on the medium tyres. He will not have to. So Wiggy in the lead, 10.8 seconds clear. Let's go on board with TJ Windham. Oh, that makes sense, man. They put that well. I was thinking, how can the power go off and then still be there? But that makes sense. So you start to work out the power issue, and then you know it happens. Apologies for late again. You've lost out here, unfortunately. It's one of those things. But to be fair, you put the wrong card, so this battle wasn't going too well. And into the pits goes TJ. Taking a lot out of those tyres, to be fair. A lot. Let's put the banner back up. So this is all about. So there we go. We go on board with TJ, and he goes into the pits. Wiggy's going to hold out until those tyres run out. The fuel and tyres pretty evenly matched in terms of wear for him. Stormfly might have an issue with his tyres. Yes, he might have an issue with the tyres before that fuel runs out. There seems to be a lot more wear there than there is for Wiggy, and his tyres are dropping right off. 702, 707, 710. So Jazz, as it gets darker, struggling a little bit with the consistency. Wiggy dropped off a little bit with 704, but you can afford to at the moment. 9 seconds clear. So Rooms has got past Fubar. Philantis is up into 3rd place. Fubar obviously goes through on TJ because TJ's been in the pits. So interesting turn of development for Rooms. He's on top 3. He had already pit very early, so he's out of sync a little bit with the pit strategy, but he's taken a lot out of those racing soft tyres. And it looks that this car is very, very abrasive. This Peugeot is very, very abrasive on those tyres. So actually, he's going to sync up in terms of tyre wear with, as we just see leading the stadium section into the Nordschleife portion of the festivities. Yeah, well, so I think we're going to see him kind of marry up with Stormfly, Wiggy possibly in terms of pit strategy. And that will be, we'll see how it works out. But he won't have to use the medium tyres again, which is obviously a good thing for him. He can stay on those softs. So it's just a question of whether he can maintain this kind of pace. Bearing in mind that he has, essentially using more tyre than everybody else. So Fubar is down in 4th place, but his tyre's looking really good actually. He will probably hold out until the fuel runs out. So I'm thinking, where are we now? He's on lap 9 now. Still got a decent amount of fuel left. I don't see any reason why it can't hold out to lap 30. Maybe lap 12, lap 13, I think will be a pit window for Fubar. I think Wiggy will be probably more than that actually. I think Wiggy might take this as far as lap 7, 16 or 17. And if he does that, that's going to put him, it's going to be a 2-stop, whichever way you dress this up minimum. But that will certainly put him in that 2-stop strategy kind of window. Possibly he might be able to 1-stop this race. If he's got another half hour to hold out. So I think he's got enough fuel to do so. It's a question of whether the tyres do. If he can hold out for another half hour with that fuel and tyre combo he's got, he will 1-stop this race. And then I think it's going to be difficult for those around. Stormfly maybe. I think it's going to let him down with the tyres. We are at 1/3 distance here. We're 1 hour in to this 3-hour endurance race here at we're in Germany for the Nurbugring 24-hour track in the Group 1 cars. We've seen the lead change a few times. Stormfly's been there, Wiggy's been there, Wiggy again, then Stormfly, then Wiggy, then Stormfly, now Wiggy again in the lead of this race. TJ comfortably in the top 2 for a while, then top 3, then top 4, and now finds himself in 5th place. He has been in the pits. He's got a 3-second pit penalty to serve. That is a very, very costly penalty. So he has changed out the soft tyres for some more soft tyres. They lost 8 laps, so definitely a 2-stop race for him. He'll finish his race now on the medium compound tyre. Not sure that is the wisest strategy because he's put him in there. We know Fubar ahead still got pit. But Fubar's in a really good position. He can hold out for a few more laps yet. So he can allow TJ just to take some more out of his tyres. As we see him, he's only 2 seconds behind the Rooms. And their pit strategies are pretty much aligned. And the Rooms are a little bit better on fuel. But in terms of tyre wear, the only thing you need to consider is that the Rooms has already used the medium tyres. But he's already pit once. That's the thing. So when we consider that, and a little error from him there, and that will just allow Fubar to close up a little bit. When we consider that, the issue with the tyres here, the fact that he's stopped after a couple of laps, if Fubar's holding on for a couple of laps more than Rooms is in terms of tyres, then it's really going to play into his hands whether he has to come in mediums or not. But we'll see how this plays out. So there's your race lead. Actually, let's go on board and on board with him. As he's only 5 seconds behind Callum. Can he close that gap? Callum on those medium tyres. And actually, he's taken more out of those medium tyres than Old Man J has taken out of those soft tyres now. This is the thing as well, is Old Man J, he's got a little plan up his sleeve, because at the moment, you know, his tyre wear and his fuel wear is so much significantly better than everybody else. You know, the old argument is slowly going, of course, you're going to take that out. But it does mean he's going to go much, much deeper into this race than anyone else. He can essentially go, the way he's going at the moment, he can go another 9 laps. There is no reason why he can't go to lap 18 here before he has to start thinking about going to the pits. That is going to be an absolute coup, because Callum not really in that same position. He's going to, of course, he can stay out a little bit longer, and he will be able to stop this race. No question of that. But I don't know. It's going to be a difficult one, because Old Man J can spend less time. Although he will have to finish this race on medium tyres, he's going to spend significantly less time on them than Callum has had to. So interesting change of strategy for Old Man J. And I'll look forward to seeing how that plays out. And I'm just going to shut off the mic from there. For the weekend. There are not many things better than a free hit. Well, other free things, basically. Yes, there we go. So, we're on board with Callum. He's 10.9 seconds ahead of Old Man J. Well, I did notice, actually, while I was munching on that Big Mac, that Fubar pit, and he pit earlier than I think he needed to. Now, we have a similar issue at Daytona. He was shooing for a top 3 at Daytona, went into the pits when he really probably didn't need to, second guessing the strategies around him. Now, if I was in his position, now bear in mind I'm not as good as Fubar is by any stretch of the imagination, but I've been in his position with 3 or 4 more laps left available to me, I would have taken those soft compound tyres as long as I possibly could into. Now, bear in mind that I know I'm too stopping, so take them as long as I possibly can into the second hour of the race. Plump on the mediums, and then run the mediums for relatively short middle stint, low fuel, short middle stint, and then knowing that I can put the softs on for the sort of last stint of the race, and go kind of a bit flat out and give myself a good opportunity. But he's clearly split his race up into its 3 1-hour sections, which, you know, is perfect time to do. I think strategy-wise, it might have worked out better for him against the Rooms and TJ. Had he just held out a little bit longer. He's 26 seconds behind TJ at the moment, who is, and with 3-second penalty as well, which is absolutely brutal. There is TJ. He is 26 seconds up the road from Fubar, 28 seconds behind the Rooms. Rooms will be pitting shortly. Now, this is the same condition that Fubar's fuel and tyres were in. And I just want to show you this quickly. I'm not going to but that's the condition that Fubar was in this same stage. They were very, very similar all the way through. Well, I mean, he hit the wall there, so maybe he is losing control of the car a little bit, but generally, the tyres kind of hold on until all the red has gone. So there was a couple more laps in it for Fubar, and I think, you know, if you take this into, you know, to 1 minute 1 hour 20 minutes, then you're only running the medium compound tyre for 20 minutes of this race, which is essentially 3 laps, no more than that. Rooms obviously needs to take these soft tyres as far as possible. Now, when he went on lap 2, he's managed to get so far 8 good laps out of these tyres. Fubar had done 10 before he went in. Sorry, 9 before he went in, but he could have done 11, 12, maybe 13. Goes to show that sometimes strategy cannot be your friend. Just getting the strategy wrong can equally be as bad as just going slowly. But Rooms up into the top 3 at the moment, and we'll have to pick shortly. Wiggy is going to hold out for a little while. Yeah, he's 25 seconds ahead. Stormfly just dropping off the pace a bit. He's had a couple of bad laps as well, which hasn't helped. And he's way back now in second place. Way back. He's back in second place by 25 seconds back. Still has the fastest lap, which he did on lap 4. That was a 6:55.8, but he hasn't really. So he's 25 seconds back, which is coming in to complete lap 10, start lap 11, and there he goes. So, what, 1 minute, so we said that 30, that's probably wrong, that's now 26, 27 lap. So Rooms into the pits now. Fubar is almost a minute behind him, so not going to be able to undercut him. But it really depends how. I mean, TJ will go through, we should do. It was 28 seconds back. He's just coming into the stadium section now. Very much he's still got to run those medium compound tyres though. He comes through. He'll take third place into Rooms. Is still only just arriving in the pits. TJ through. How far back is Fubar? That's the question. I think he's too far back to capitalise, and I think that stop just kind of screwed him up a little bit. And obviously that penalty doesn't help. So Rooms, there he is. He comes back out in 4th. He's 6.3 seconds behind TJ now. After that pit stop. So leader Wiggy 23 seconds up from Stormfly. He is 40 seconds clear of TJ, who's back into the top 3. Had some terrible laps. 7:29, 7:16, 7:10. So didn't initially started out well. He's getting sub 7 minute laps, but not consistently enough for it to be Really working well for him. So feel his pain because he was very quick qualifying wise, so he can, one hot lap do it. He should have a penalty coming his way for his actions in qualifying because you don't overtake in qualifying. It's a shitty thing, particularly if you buy into their car. But saying that, he's 2 places behind Wiggy, so I think Wiggy's driving has probably saved TJ a deserving penalty. Then we've got Rooms. Rooms is in 4th place. He's been slowly creeping his way forward. Didn't have the greatest of starts. Dropped back a little bit on the medium tyres. Dropped way back when he decided to change those out on lap 2 or 3. I think it was lap 2 he changed that out. He's been in the pits again on the previous lap, which was lap 10. And now he goes again with the soft tyres. So he's going to have one more stop. He'll be on the soft tyres. He's 39 seconds ahead of Fubar. Fubar could have held out for 2, maybe 3 more laps than he did. He could still be on the older tyres and just thinking about now maybe coming into the pits. If that was the case, he'd probably be in 3rd and he'd certainly have a lot less time on these medium compound tyres. But strategy sometimes is a cruel mistress, and it's hard to second guess what your opponents are doing. Kulum is 3 minutes back from Fubar. Everyone else on lap 11. He's on lap 10. And he's got how far behind is? He's not that far behind. The gap between him and Old Man J is 13 seconds now. In terms of pitting, Kulum's going in the pits before Old Man J. Now let's make this clear. Old Man J's on the soft compound tyres. He is really, I was questioning his pace. I'll say that, he's just put it into a wall, which doesn't help. Was questioning Jay's pace, in all fairness, because I'm pretty sure he's been picking that. But it looks to me that he has been tyre and fuel saving for this entire first hour and 15 minutes. And yeah, he does still have to use the medium compound tyre. But if he can outlast Kulum on the softs and give himself a much shorter stint on the mediums, I think both these drivers are going to one-stop this race. That's the key. I think they're both going to one-stop it. But Jay can go a little bit longer than Kulum, and that's really going to make a massive difference. Massive difference. So I think 2 stops is probably the quickest way around here because you can put a bit more pace in. But these guys are going to one-stop it and hope that one stop gives them a little bit of impetus against each other. It's certainly not going to help them catch up the guys out in front. They are already minutes and a half. Essentially, the almost half a lap in terms of lap time back from everybody else. They're all on. Everyone's now on lap 11, but Wiggy is heading back towards the stadium, and Jay and Kulum are in the stadium still on the GP track. Let's go on board with your leader. There he is. It is firmly in the middle of the night now. Hour and 15 minutes into this 3-hour race day for the Charity Mine. We've raced 500 quid, just under 500 quid. A few more quid just to bump us over that line would be awesome. Everybody else. 1 in 15 people has something in their lifetime. And if given a couple of quid can cut that number down, then we've done something good. We've got one more race in this Mine series of races. At the moment it's advertised as Spa. If the pit buggy is not fit, we're going to have to do some testing. We certainly can't use the 24-hour track because that is still very much bugged. We're going to try the GP layout and see if that makes a difference. And if so, then we will be running the final race at Spa this time next week. However, if it doesn't work, we will announce a new track tomorrow. But one more race to go in this series and we can crown a champion. And just because we've got Wigan still right in the LinkedIn goes, really just because that. Let's bring up the standings again, because Wigan in a very, very good position. Currently 2 points clear over Stormfly VR46, and this will give him 25 points for win, 22 for second place. So that will actually open up that gap a little bit. With 3 second cushion, open up to a 5-point difference. Ghost currently running in 3rd place. That'll give him 20 points. That'll keep him ahead of Fubar. Fubar will gain a few. It's interesting because, unfortunately for Bandit, he won't get the points. So he'll stay in the point. That one was only done one race. And was not happy at the end of that race either. So not to continue in this. He will also pick up Bruce Troopers. Bruce Troopers will those races now. Columbe will pick up some good points today. He's running in 6th place. Aruns, he's potentially on for a top 3. I wouldn't count him out. I wouldn't count out the possibility of Aruns getting himself into the top 3 in this race. He's 5.9 seconds at the moment behind TJ. Now, his pit strategy is very different, because he went in very early, changed out the medium compound size. And the reason I think he's a shoo-in for a top 3 here is he's been those mediums already. TJ in front of him has got 1 stop left to do, and he's going to have to do that final stint on the medium compound tyres, which is going to affect his race pace. If Aruns gets ahead of him before that pit stop, it's going to be nigh impossible for TJ to be able to do anything about it. And at the moment, if we look at Aruns' lap times, I mean, he did have a great lap. Oh, it was 7:17. No, off the track, 7:14, 7:17. But he is doing 6:58. He can do 6:58 on the soft tyres, so he has done. Bear in mind he did pit, so one of those slow laps is the pit lap. The outlet. So this will be the one where we see the indicative pace. 8 seconds is the difference to TJ, and there is TJ. He's back in the sub 7-minute lap time, so just trying to make some inroads towards Stormfly up in front. So I need to get that going on. So yeah, this is the situation we're at the moment. So Old Man Jay, he's at the back, he's 13 seconds back from Colorado. But doesn't have to pit for I think his pit window is somewhere around lap 18, lap 19. That's what I'm estimating. Columbi is going to start thinking about pitting in the next lap or 2. That's obviously going to free up Old Man Joe and let him go ahead. He will be on the soft compound tyre still. Columbi will come out on the soft compound. Now it's a bit, because their pit strategy is so very different, it's going to be very difficult to say how big or little effect the medium tyre, having the medium tyre still, is going to have on Old Man Jay. But I think we'll get to see the indicative pace. But in terms of this, it's difficult because they're on very different strategies at the moment, and you won't really see how it plays out until the last half an hour of the race. You get a much better indication as to where they are in terms of pace against each other. So Fubar, talking on strategy, and this is the beautiful thing about it. So if you look at Columbi's there, right, it's night time. Fubar's there, it's daytime. Awesomeness. Definitely just joining the room. No one or reason than just to have a little look and see what's occurring. And we are 1 hour 20 minutes into this race at launch. Fubar, for those who are born is 54 seconds behind the room. Now, at one stage, I thought he might be a good outside bet for a top 3 spot. Got his strategy a little bit awry, I think. I still think that was not necessarily right thing to do. But, you know, you've got to do the strategy that works for you at the time it works for you. And that NM55 is certainly pretty well at the moment. Can he just up the pace a little bit on those medium tyres to close down that 55-second gap. The thing is, he's not got any pressure from behind, but he would certainly like to close up on the rooms if he can. There is rooms, of course. Rooms with a view. 55 seconds up the road from. Actually, as it's getting right now, we can go quite successfully. Because we can see the cars much better now. So back into the daytime, out of that nighttime cycle, so we should start to see now actually the lap time starting to ramp up because they've got that muscle memory now. They've been driving, they've done 11, 12 laps around here already, so they're starting to get that kind of muscle memory. They've done it at night time, and I thought Rooms was going to lose it then. There was a bit of a wobble in that Peugeot, but he does hold it on. 10.6 seconds to TJ. He's not closing that gap at the moment. He probably should do if he needs to. If he wants to nick it, I think now is when he starts to close on TJ in the top three. TJ's got to pit again. He's going to pit again in probably about half an hour, 35 minutes or so. When he'll go in, Rooms can go a little bit longer than that, possibly. He didn't really put enough fuel on for me for a long enough stint, and I think the only thing that's going to come across for him is going to be one extra stop. This is a 1 or 2 stop race at the maximum, and he stretches out to be a 3 stop race. So Stormfly still hasn't come in, but the pit window is firmly opening now for the front runners. Wiggy in a slightly better condition, tyres and fuel than Stormfly. They're going to run the second stint both on medium tyres. Or are they? Are they going to literally splash and dash for the mediums at the very end of this race? That's certainly a possibility. Do they feel that the pace is significantly better on the soft? This is the thing, they will have run the scenarios. Now, if these guys feel that the pace is significantly better on the soft than it is on the mediums, and Stormfly hitting a wall there, that is not a good place to do that. And car park there, son. Why did he hit the wall there? It just seems a very odd place to hit the wall. And he was going into the pits, but he went in the wrong place. And that is going to cost him oodles and boodles of time. So much time. Something at the time, that's something that we discovered today. The Dutch aren't very good at recording because they measure everything in half to the hour, not half past the hour. If a Dutchman says to you it's 7:30, it's fucking not. It's 6:30. They're just stupid because they do half to the hour. And if they said they're going to see you next Wednesday, it's not next Wednesday, it's this Wednesday. Because they clearly can't say see you in a couple of days. I discovered that today, so time is not really a good concept for the Dutch. And I'm aware that I will have some Dutch trying to kill me later. So there we go, there is Wiggy. He now has a 51-second lead. That lead was made bigger for 2 reasons. One, Stormfly put his car into a wall. Number 2, Stormfly's been into the pits. Wiggy will hold on for, I think, lap 14, lap 15. I think lap 15 is when we see Wiggy go in, fully into the final half of this race. Firmly 1 stop in it. TJ, he's going to be 2 stop in this race. He is currently on the soft copper tyres. He's still got to run the mediums, so out of the GP track and into Nordschleife. He's in second place now, 51 seconds back from Wiggy. Bear in mind that Wiggy is not racing TJ. Rooms and TJ are two are racing. That gap is 10 seconds. Stormfly is 1 minute 23 seconds off Wiggy. And that cost him so much time, and that's got to be a shortcut penalty, surely. It is a shortcut penalty for him there. So there we go. He just aimed at the wrong place to go in the pits, and it's cost him so much time. And he might actually be vulnerable now to TJ and Arooms. Pace-wise is good. You know, there's no danger of that. But he's on the medium compound tyres. Arooms is running soft to the end. The only downside, I think, is Arooms could have run a little bit longer in this stint. He's gone for the light through the road. He's just done actually. So fastest lap is with TJ. He's just done a 6:52.8. A 6:52.8. That's absolutely phenomenal lap. That is almost 3 seconds quicker than the previous fastest lap. So he has got the pace. The question is, what's he going to do with that pace? But his first order of business is going to be to build a big enough gap on Arooms that Arooms can't overcut or undercut him. And at this stage, I think it's going to be an undercut, looking at fuel. I think there or thereabouts. They're pretty much the same at the moment. Fuel, although wear on the tyres a little bit more for TJ, but that means he's pushing like a mad speed demon. Yeah, so it's going to be a difficult one because he's still got to run the medium compound tyre. We know that. So this is where he needs to put in these blistering out tyres. Arooms doesn't have to use those medium tyres, but equally, he's on a. It will be a third stop for him because he stopped nice and early to get rid of the mediums. So I don't know. I don't know how badly a position Stallfly put himself in now. His gap to the lead is 1 minute 24 seconds. I know that. He's 24 seconds behind Arooms. Now we know that TJ and Arooms do need to pit again, but Arooms will be put on a soft compound tyre. I think Stallfly might be a little bit vulnerable for second here. I think potentially the top 3 is not decided. Yeah, of course it's not decided. I mean, anything can happen to any of these guys. Wiggy could have a problem. TJ could have a problem. Arooms could have a problem. Stallfly could have a problem. But you just never know. Wiggy ramping it up for this lap 13. He's coming in this lap. You can tell he is because he's just upping that pace a little bit. He's trying to open up that gap as big as possible. I think he's far enough ahead that TJ is not going to briefly take the lead of this race. I think he's just far enough ahead. I don't hold that. I could be wrong, but it certainly looks to me like that's the case. 46. If he does take the race, it won't be very long, so excuse me. So we're going to see Wiggy putting into the pits very, very soon. There is Wiggy, so he's just coming round. Where's TJ? TJ's that section. Who's that going into Cologne? He's staying out for another lap, not coming in just yet. Old man Jay, nowhere near coming in. I really think he's going to hold out until the 2-hour mark. Hitting the wall though, is just not what he wants to do. And he's actually got so much damage on that Porsche. I tell you what, Porsche are not going to be happy with the state of that car. And he brings it back with all those scratches. Yeah, not great. If you're going for the strategy where you're going to stretch it out, then you've got to try and stay on the racetrack, man. 43 seconds is the gap to Cologne. Who's that with a penalty? Stallfly with his half-second penalty still to serve. This is where this penalty line shit is stupid. You've got a 7-minute lap and you've got to wait until the penalty line to serve it. You know, in GTS you just literally serve the penalty at some point whenever you want under your own fucking steam. That's how it should be. That's how it would be in normal motorsport, is that if you get on track time penalty, you don't wait for a certain line and slow down there, you just serve it, whether that be a drive-through penalty or whatever. But this is just fucking stupid. Yeah, particularly on laps like this. You know, short laps is fine, but on laps like this it's ridiculous. So we're going to see Wiggy coming around these last few bends. Has he stayed out for another lap? It looks to me that he has. He's actually stayed out. Didn't come in on lap 13. Stayed out for lap 14. So he's going one more. He did 58.3 that lap. That is 5 seconds off of this man's fastest lap. He did a 6:52.8. He's just done a 53.4. Both laps faster than anybody else has gone today. He knows that at some point Wiggy's got a pit. He must know that. He knows that Wiggy hasn't been in. He knows Wiggy's going to go on to the medium compound tyre. And he knows that he himself will, in the next 30 minutes, have to go on to the medium compound tyre. So his best bet is to build up as big a gap as possible to the rules behind him. And the only way he can do that is by absolutely hammer time right now. And that's what he's doing. He's going hammer, hammer, hammer time. Rooms, he's got himself into the top 3. Pretty much, I think the way he's driving at the moment is shooing for the top 3. But could potentially get himself into the top 2. The only problem I can see is that he will have to pit again. Only 4 soft tyres, of course, but Stormfly is there. Stormfly had an absolute nightmare on his pit-in lap. He went in the wrong place and hit the wall, and that cost him a significant time. And then obviously he then had to find the pits and go in, and is now 1 minute 33 seconds behind Wiggy in the lead. So not a good day at the office for Stormfly. It's just going to allow Wiggy to open up his lead at the top of the championship. So at the moment it's 2 points clear. He'll open it up to a juicy 5 points clear. Fubar was at one stage, for me, knocking on the door of the top 3 and just seemed to drop off a little bit. Quite erratic pace. 7:01.1. Also no 1 2 for the decimal point. Is his fastest lap. His slowest lap has been his actual lap, not is around the kind of 7:12, 7:13 marks. So it's quite a difference between fastest and slowest lap. And there doesn't seem to be a huge amount of consistency across those, which is a shame, because Fubar's usually kind of one of those guys that is genuinely quite reliable in terms of lap pacing and giving you and pushing those guys out in front and keeping them honest. But at the moment he's 56 seconds behind Stormfly, 2.5 minutes off the race leader. 3 minutes, need 4 minutes back, so that's what over half a lap. Right here, there is Kulum. He's on the medium compound tyre. He is due to pit any time now. I would hazard a guess he's going to be this lap, looking at his tyres and fuel. But he will then run to the end of this race on the soft compound tyre. Old man Jay, he's going to run very, very long first stint on these soft compound tyres. And leave himself a very short stint on the mediums. Now, it'll be interesting to see how well the strategy will work. I'm not entirely convinced that going this slowly. So you've got to bear in mind that he's already past the window where one stop viable. He knows that one stop viable. 5 minutes ago, lap one stop was viable. He's about to be lapped actually by so anything longer than this is now where you can put in hammer time. And you should start putting in the fastest laps at this stage, purely because you've gone past that point in hammer time. You've gone past the window where you know you can one stop this race whatever you do. You don't need to fuel save anymore at this stage. And I think if you hammer time now, you stand a good opportunity of maybe improving your position. So Old Man J will be getting lapped. This will be the first lapping of the race. Bearing in mind how long the racetrack is, it's taken a while to get here, but that makes sense. So, interested to see where this overtake happens. Actually, it's cool. I'm sure these guys are communicating on comms. Old Man J just pulling off to the left-hand side, and Wiggy goes through quite comfortably. That's how you do it. You communicate with each other. Jay didn't compromise his own race. Just kept his own pace up. But it's just simply in that car. Quick reminder why we're doing what we are doing.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
A donation of £20 could help 167 people take their first steps in getting mental health support through Mind's booklets.
So Wiggy finally hits the pits. 1 hour 38 minutes is this race, past that halfway point. He has run a long way on those soft compound tyres. Gap to TJ 34 seconds. Columbi also has been into the pits. The gap to Old Man J now is 3.1 seconds, but Colum now, importantly, is on the racing soft tyres. So I am not convinced that Jay's strategy has worked. I think he's just got a little bit of that, you know, I'm sure he won't mind me saying this. I think he's taken it too far into this race. Fuel saved a little bit, tyre saved a little bit too much, and sacrificed too much pace. And that's given Colum a really good opportunity now to open up the gap, because Old Man Jay, he might be a little bit quicker than him here with light fuel. And take the position, but he's still got a bit, and he's got to go on the medium compound tyre. Fubar as well is another, I think, got strategy a little bit on. Although saying that, if I'm now looking at the pace of the rooms, because TJ goes through into the lead briefly, he won't stay there forever, he will have to pit in the next sort of 20 minutes or so. Rooms still 13 seconds behind TJ, and he's just done a 6:53.4. But importantly, he doesn't have to use the medium compound tyre anymore. He's already done that. TJ still has that glory to come. You know, he's putting in some great laps on TJ. I mean, 52.8, 53.4, 52.8 again. Which have been significantly faster than anybody else. 53.4 there for Arun. So he's demonstrating he has got more pace in that Peugeot. So it has been, clearly this race has been one where they've been holding back a little bit, looking after tyres, looking after fuel in that first stint of the race, and really kind of feeling out for you know, how far they can push the car. And you know, Wiggy in a very good position, because both cars in front of him will need to be. He doesn't know that they need to be. Well, he may well do. He may well have been paying attention and know that they will need to go in again. Know when they went in last time, but he may not know, and he's just going to have to do his job now. Now he's gone for the soft tyres again. That means that Wiggy will need to stop again. Now. Daytona, what did he do at Daytona? Didn't he go in right at the end and whack him on for a lap at the end? I think he's going to do that again here. So he's going to go racy, and then switch out to the mandatory harder tyre. Interesting strategy. May well work out for him. He is 1 minute ahead of Stormfly. And that's obviously his biggest rival on the racetrack at the moment, I think, is going to be Stormfly. Stormfly just didn't get it right in going into the pits. And he also will need to change out to some medium compound tyres again. Did he run the mediums and then go in again? I'm sure he came out of the mediums. I'm pretty sure he changed them to the mediums. So he may have done the pits again. Who knows? But I can always check. There's always a way to check. So, 3.7 seconds is the gap. I think he's going to make that up pretty quickly. In terms of his pace, he's actually saying that he's a bit slower than these guys at the moment. These guys out in front are about 5 seconds a lap quicker than he's going. So they may well open up a bit of a gap. And to be fair, Rooms is not, and he's not any slouch by any stretch of the imagination. But he just cannot match the pace of TJ at the moment. It's going to come back to them later on in the race, of course, because TJ still has to run a medium set of tyres. Whether he does it the same way that Wiggy's going to choose to do it, which is just to kind of splash and dash with it and get rid of him, or is he going to actually run a full stint on the mediums? We'll soon see, because the Rooms kept him on for 2 laps. First 2 laps of the race, and then got rid and went on to the soft compound tyre. So clearly felt that there was enough extra pace to justify the extra stop. Does that seem to be the way? Well, Colum, he went a long way on the medium tyres, and has now got the benefit of the soft compound for the duration of this race. Old man Jay, he'll be stayed out a little bit longer. He lost 11 seconds to Columbi. Not sure what his strategy is now. A little bit hot there. He's at the stage where strategy should have changed a bit earlier. But it is what it is. A 3-hour race is difficult to plan for what contingency you want to plan for and that kind of thing. Sometimes you have to kind of think on the fly and change your plan, but you might not want to do that. You might want to stick to the game plan and hope it works out for you. I mean, look, it's not all doom and gloom. It may well still come back to him. You just don't know what's going to happen to him out ahead of him. 6:52.8 for TJ. Another solid quick lap. 52.8, 53.4, 52.8. That's after doing a 56 and a 57. So some very, very hot laps from TJ Mini Market. He is just closing down on, I think that's Jay up ahead that he's closing down on. It is indeed Old Man Jay that he's closing down on. Wiggy did lap him at one stage, but Old Man Jay. I talked about this in the. I think I talked about this in a couple of videos and made a mention of this in the rules. When you are the lapped car, you're under no obligation. You're obligated to get out of the way, but you're under no obligation. I mean, look at this long straight here. This is where going into that corner, that overtake could have been made. Jay's compromised his own lap, his own race, to get off the racetrack for TJ, and it's unnecessary to do that. I will fight till I'm blue in the face, as blue as those flags are, that just because you're the quicker car, the cars in the back shouldn't have to disappear off onto the grass and lose 5, 10, 15 seconds of their own lap time just so you can go through. That's the way I see it, especially when in that scenario there, the following corner is preceded by a very long straight. So I'm sorry, if you're the faster car, that's where you just tuck in behind. Look, use comms and negotiate and say, look, okay, when you take the corner, just get off the racing line. I will be a little bit slower on the front on the way out, and I will come breezing past you. So Old Man Jay into the pits for his only stop. TJ 21 seconds clear. That was by TJ terms, that was a bloody slow lap. That was a 6:57.2 for him. Really taking it out of those front tyres, though. Really taking it out of those front tyres. 4 laps maybe left for TJ. 3 to 4 laps before he needs to go in for his second and final stop, or third stop. No, second and final stop. Which will be for medium compound tyres, or it'll be for soft compound tyres, and then I'll have one more stop further on after that. Rooms running in second. He is still holding on second, but poor lap from him was 7:05.6. Wiggy did a 7:42, but that was an out lap after the pit, so not representative of his pace at all. We'll soon find out what that is. at the end of this lap he's on now. So he's your de facto leader. He's 27 seconds back from TJ. He doesn't have to pit again, or he does have to pit. He needs to do a splash dash for medium tyres as Wiggy. TJ also needs to put on medium tyres. The question is whether he does it in this stop or the next. But at the moment, I think Wiggy's in a slightly better position than TJ, just because he's one stop of this race, and we'll just go a little bit longer. Stormfly was in it to win it, and then just went horribly wrong. Mistakes crept in, a couple of little issues, and he finds himself outside the top three with a shit ton of work to do. Shit ton to do to fight his way back into some sort of contention. Fubar 46 seconds back in the prettiest car on the racetrack today. I mean, from behind, that's a beautiful car from any angle. But like many a woman, fantastic from behind. That's a little bit wide there, my friend. And the inside's gorgeous too. Like many women. It's like a serial killer, doesn't it? Colombia, 4.5 minutes. 4 minutes 54 seconds. 4.5 minutes with the chest, 4 minutes 30 seconds, wasn't it? 4 minutes and 54 seconds back is Colombia from the Amigos Racing Team and our Canadian brother, or brethren. He is running in 6th place. We've got 7 of the 8 runners still in. Bandit had a power issue in that his missus turned off the power. Told him he wasn't allowed to play anymore and to say goodnight to his friends, which he did, and is now reading his bedtime story. Some of that may be made up. Columbia, there he is though. He's TJ just coming round to lap him. See there, this is the difference there. Columbia didn't need to compromise his lap at all there for TJ to get through. And that's how lapping should be done. When the person being lapped doesn't compromise the race in any way, shape or form. 1 minute back is Jay's on the medium tyres. He's going to run those to the end of this race. I think he got the strategy right. I think he went too slow, too fuel and tyre saving, and far too long on that first stint for it to work. And I think he didn't adapt the strategy when it wasn't working. What he should probably have done is just upped the pace a little bit. The spin there for him on those medium tyres. He won't be pleased with that in the slightest. A lot of damage there on that. On the front of that car. I mean, he won't be pleased with that there, and he certainly won't be pleased with his performance today. But 7th place is 7th place, and there's still good points. Just by virtue of the fact a lot of people didn't show up. So I want to talk quickly about we've got something coming up, and we need some more bodies, some more warm bodies for it. It's Black Flag Rivals. It is the Subaru versus the Lancer Evo. It's a kind of threefold competition: Constructors Championship. There is a Team Championship, so Evo versus Subaru essentially. But there's also the individual championship as well. But it's 7 versus 7, 7 in each car for each race. Gonna roll the dice on it. We're not going to say right, you pick that, you that. No. I'm going to roll the dice, and then 7 of you get one, 7 of you get the other. But we need a couple of people that are signed up for as kind of reserve, because essentially it's a 9-week racing competition. And because it's a team event, the team kind of need to turn out every single week in, week out. There's going to be some races people are going to miss, and we'll have reserve drivers in there to cover that. And there will be a separate competition for the reserve drivers too. We'll have a little coefficient kind of point system for them, and their contribution to the constructors will count. However, but we've got 12 warm bodies. We need at least 14 warm bodies, and possibly a few more in terms of reserves and stuff. That's actually going to start on Thursday once we've got the numbers. So do get involved. Have a look at our Sim League Pro. Have a look at our Discord. And Stormfly decided to go the long way around across the grass, which is fine. Yeah, he survived, but it didn't cost Orange any time there at all. Much better way to do that. Have a look at our Sim League Pro. SimLeaguePro.com. You can find us on there. Black Flag Racing. Black Flag E-Racing. Or find us on Discord, and you'll find the link on there for the link, and you can get involved with that shizzle, and that'll be on Thursdays on GT7. Get involved immediately. Go and do it now, right now. Have you done it yet? Have you done it? Why have you not done it yet? Have you done it yet? Good, thank you. Right, so TJ in the lead, absolutely blistering pace at the moment. 52, 3, 53, 52, 54s. Some really hot laps. Does of course still need to put on some medium tyres. Is really taking it out of the softs at the moment. Now, is he going to go for a full stint on mediums, or is he going to bin them off after a couple of laps, similar to how Rooms did, and I think Wiggy's going to do as well, and I think Stormfly's probably going to do as well. So Rooms is 26 seconds on TJ, and struggling to match that crazy pace, but he is firmly in the only needing soft tyres camp. TJ still has to run at some stage the medium, less grippy, shittier tyre. Wiggy, he's running in third, but I think de facto first. His gap to TJ is 30 seconds. Yes, he does need to put on medium tyres at some stage, but he's going to do it as a kind of splashy, dashy, flashy thing. So he's going to run in, put him on, and then fuck off back out again. And then just for a couple of laps. That's all he's going to do. He's going to finish the race on the mediums just to get it done, out of the way. Old man Jay into the pits because he's getting rid of those medium tyres. He's going to put on the softs. That's where his strategy going wrong didn't work. The irony is that he changed his strategy. The strategy of getting rid of the tyres over the balls didn't work at Daytona. And I think it's the nature of the racetrack. It's such a quick racetrack that it just put you at such a disadvantage so far behind because of how quick and how short the racetrack is in comparison. But sort of places like here in Le Mans, it might have been, it certainly seems to have worked out well for Rooms. But obviously the other issue is Owen just didn't really put the pressure through the pace through those tyres and through that fuel when he had the soft compound. He held on to the fuel and held on to those tyres for far too long. Someone who didn't do it for far too long was Fubar. Fubar was the opposite. He actually went in a lot sooner than he needed to, and I think that's cost him a few places. Good evening, Patrick. How the bloody hell are you, my friend? And that's Fubar into the pits for his second and final stop of the race. He's going to put on the soft compound tyre. He's already 1.5 minutes behind Stormfly, who does need to go in at some stage and put on some medium tyres, but that'll only be a splashy thing. I don't think he's going to run them for any significant length of time. Fubar not vulnerable to Columbia or to Old Man Joe behind. The gap is large, to say the least. TJ out in front, but it's difficult to know what he's thinking right now. I mean, his brain's probably doing something like this, because that's the kind of thing that his brain really does. It's going mental like a goat licking an electric fence. But it's hard to know what he's thinking in terms of strategy, because the best scenario for him now he might not necessarily know that Wiggy still needs to run the medium tyres and be quite happy to run to the end on the soft, so he will need to come in and splashy dashing. But so he's got a choice. And that choice is going to come in the next couple of laps, lap 17, certainly lap 18. And that push, lap 19 is when he's going to have to start thinking about it. Is you have to start making a decision whether he just pits the once for the medium compound tyres and runs to the end of the once. If he does that, he very well might be in a good position to win. The only concern I have, and I think he'll have too, if he knows that Arooms has already binned, and Arooms done one more pit stop than everybody else, but he binned out those medium tyres on lap 2. If he knows that Arooms has used the mediums already, he's going to be vulnerable because Arooms has been quick on the soft compound tyres. He's done a similar lap time to TJ. I mean, he's 53.4 as fastest lap. He hasn't done it consistently like TJ, but he's on a slightly different strategy. But yeah, so I think that's the problem TJ's going to have. He's going to be vulnerable to Arooms if he decides to go long. He's certainly going to be vulnerable to Wiggy as Wiggy starts to ramp up the pace. And it looks to me like he actually went into. But did he pit on lap 14, 15 then? Again. Because I know he pits. No, that was his only pit, 14, 15. He didn't pit sooner than that. I don't know why. The P is further down there. He pit 14, 15. So he went really long into this race. He's just coming up to lap Arooms now. No, to challenge Arooms now. We're going to lap him. He's going to challenge him. So he's closed that gap down on Arooms. Arooms needs to go in. Wiggy does need to go in, but he can go in any time between now and the end of the race. He's not on any particular fixed window of when he needs to put those medium tyres on. He'll just do it when he's ready, probably in his last lap. Now, he'll need to be about 40 seconds clear on his last lap before he goes in, if he's going to have that work for him. We'll see. Stormfly ruled himself out with a series of errors, and Arooms moves over, lets Wiggy through. There's nothing he can do to stop him. They're on two different strategies. It was silly to hold him up because he's only going to be affecting his own race. His race is not with Wiggy right now. His race is with TJ, who is 18 seconds up the road right now. Yeah, let's talk about Stormfly because he was, for all intents and purposes, dominating this race early doors, and then it all went a little bit wrong, and he made a mistake and through went Wiggy. In fact, what actually happened was he made the mistake with TJ bearing down on him, and Wiggy capitalised on TJ looking for an entrance by making a move on TJ and on Stormfly and getting himself up into the lead. Then, throughout the first stint, Wiggy, TJ into the pit stop, put Wiggy into the lead of this race. TJ's got in a little bit early. Yes, the Stormfly and Wiggy duked it out for a bit, swapping first place between them. Wiggy had a spin, quite a bad one actually, which gave Stormfly a good 15-second lead. And then Stormfly just went through a succession of laps where he kept fucking it up. And it was almost like clockwork that he was making mistakes, and the Wiggy closed that deficit, got ahead. And then was the big kicker. Stormfly goes to go in the pits, turns into the wrong place, gets his car stuck on a wall, has to then put himself out of that wall and then go round another corner before he then finally goes into the pits. And it cost him so much time. And he's now outside that top three. He's a minute behind. He's a minute behind the leader and 1 minute 19 behind DJ. That can't make sense. I think that needs to right itself. So TJ just coming out of the pits now. He's come out on the medium, so he's going to run to the end of this race on the medium tyres. Now, this is interesting. So Room's ahead of him, 24 seconds ahead. Is on the soft tyres, only has to run the soft compound tyre. We've got to wait a couple of laps in on TJ's place. It's going to be 15 minutes before we'll know what TJ's representative pace is on those medium tyres. And of course, we know a Room's pace on the softs is anywhere between that 6:53 and the 6:59. So we know that he's got some really good representative pace on the soft compound tyre. And towards the end of the race, will he push a little bit harder? Well, we're just past the 2-hour mark. So a full tank of fuel at this stage, and he knows he can burn it a little bit harder. So when does he come in? For me, he's got 24 seconds on him at the moment. Now he's going to be looking at that gap as he goes around this lap, and I think this is where they make the decision. And I think by the looks of it, it looks like he's just decided it's hammer time, because he's starting to that pace is a little bit quicker. So he's actually closing a little bit on Wiggy. So he has gone hammer time. He's coming in this lap. He wants to open up that gap as big as possible. He's not got enough at the moment. He's going to come out behind TJ, but he's going to be on soft compound tyres. It's all still to play for. Remember, Wiggy still needs the medium compound tyre. That's going to be a big thing here. Now, TJ's only 27 seconds back. I think Wiggy could be in a little bit of bother. It looked to me, to be fair, at one stage that he was just going to absolutely dominate this race. Now, it's going to be about pace now. How much time can Wiggy put on the board? Can he pull out a gap? That's going to be key. He needs to pull out a gap from TJ, because that 26 seconds is not enough. That is not enough of a window to go in, pit, and put on those medium tyres and come out, especially if TJ stays on those mediums and doesn't change out for some soft compounds. Now, here's the thing, he's only 24 seconds behind the rules, okay? And we know he's capable of doing he did a 6:52.8 fastest lap, which was, when he pulled out that lap, it was a full 4 seconds quicker than anything that had been done up to that stage. Full, 5 seconds quicker. 4.5 seconds. Anything that had been done by anybody at that stage. And it hasn't been matched by nobody else who's gone sub 6:53. The rooms has been close, he's done a couple of 53s, but he hasn't gone sub 53. Now, with that kind of pace, is it worth TJ just going in on these mediums? I think we have to wait and see what the time is. It's going to take him a couple of laps to know what his time. He'll know how the car feels, of course, but he'll need to physically see the split times and know just how much pace you're losing on the mediums to be able to do the math and make that judgment. We're on lap 18 here. There is about another 8 or 9 laps left. Probably 8 laps left here. We're at the Nurbugring, of course, one of the most famous racetracks in the entire world. This is a 24-hour layout. Lap record round here is done by Dodge Viper. The lap record for the 919, Paul and I were talking about that earlier, is around just the green hell section of this track, not the 24-hour circuit. Apparently, that's what this is on which I googled earlier. So let's have a look down the field. Old man Jay's strategy just went horribly wrong. Initially it seemed brilliant. Take the soft tyres much longer than anybody else, really deep into this race. The problem was that the car ahead of him was on the medium compound tyres and finishing the race on the softs, and managed to drag it out just a little bit less than you, and it caused a problem. At that stage is when old man Jay should have gone hammer time, try and close the gap as much as possible, but it just hasn't worked out that way. He did finally pit and put on the medium tyre, did that for a couple of laps, then got rid, has gone back on the soft. But that now puts him 2 minutes 30 seconds back from Coulomb, and 9 minutes, almost 2 laps now. A lap and a half, should I say. Back from the current lead in this race. Right, so full rundown. Wiggy in the lead, 2.7 seconds from Arooms. And Arooms is going to pit again at the end of this lap, and he's going to put on some soft compound tyres. Now TJ will probably at that stage take second place. Now this is where the questions lie. Does TJ stay out on the mediums or switch out back to some soft compound tyres? And we'll have an opportunity in one more lap after this to find out what the representative time is. The lap time for this lap's not going to help us because it's going to include the extra time stationary for the pit. So there is a rooms in the pits. There is TJ just coming in to or around that little chicane bit and into the stadium section now. And he's actually going in. He's going into the pits and putting on the soft compound tyres. So it's going to be about pure, unadulterated pace. He has opted not to stick on those medium tyres, and we'll find out just how smart a move that is. Bear in mind, he was 29, only 30 seconds back from Rooms. The Rooms just leaving the pits. Now he's put, he's been brave with the fuel as a Rooms, very brave. I think he's been too brave. I called this last time, didn't I? I said when he was at Daytona, I thought he'd fucked up on fuel, and he'd absolutely worked it out to the litre. So I'm not going to say that he's fucked up on fuel. TJ has no. TJ's got plenty. TJ can go hammer time. Right, the gap is 11.2 seconds. So already saved him that time. He obviously didn't have to put any more fuel on board. Just tyres did TJ. So that's going to help a lot. Under 11 seconds is the gap. So we're on lap 19. There is just over 50 minutes of this race left. So we're talking 8 laps. 8 laps. Between 7 and 8 laps left for TJ to make up a deficit of 11 seconds. That gets him into second place. Now, Wiggy's got the 45-second gap at the moment that he needs. The question will be, when does he put on the mediums? I hazard a guess it's probably going to be right towards the end of the race with just a couple of laps left. Maybe a lap left. Excuse me. Yeah, just a lap left, I think, is when he's going to put the medium tyres on. But at that stage, what is going to be the gap? Because he's going to need... let's assume he doesn't put fuel on board. He's still going to need 30 seconds. Without fuel. So we saw what the difference was. When TJ was 30 seconds behind Rooms. Rooms went in. He had to fuel as well. TJ didn't. He just didn't put tyres on. That was that saved 20 seconds. So at this stage of the race, I think Wiggy's okay, but it really depends on what that gap comes down to in terms of pace now. Because Wiggy, he's not been a slouch, and pretty much every lap, bar a couple of, and certainly those ones when he went into pit, have been sub 7 minutes. So he has been putting in a really decent shift of his lap time, and that will affect his lap time, making mistakes like that. But Aruns and TJ have been absolutely melting the motherfucking shit out of this racetrack, particularly TJ. But we've seen this is what Aruns did. We saw Aruns deliberately put himself 45 seconds back at the very, very back, pitting on lap 2 to get rid of the medium compound tyres, and then just absolutely blasting his way through the pack to get himself up into the top 3 as they just lap Cologne. That will be, well, he's been lapped a few times, but obviously where they go in the pits is kind of much to lap himself and shizzle. So there we go. So at the moment, Stormfly for me has just carried himself. I say carried himself out of that top 3. I think he also needs to put on the medium tyres. So this is interesting because he does still need the medium tyre, but he is only 2 seconds behind TJ, and he himself has just recently done 6:53. So he's got that similar kind of pace in him that we've seen from TJ in Stormfly. He has cut that gap down a bit. At one stage, he was a minute and a half behind the lead of this race. So he has recovered quite well. And I must say, I laughed at him. Fucking awesome. US Police the World Army Queen. And he's right up behind the back of TJ now in Stormfly. And this could be interesting. We do know Stormfly's got to put some medium tyres on, so he's got to go racing. TJ's not just going to let him through. These guys have battled before. They go side by side. The move's not on. Here is Stormfly again, trying to find a way through, trying to find a way past. TJ's not going to give him anything, and he's certainly not going to give up a space here. That's just purple that there from Stormfly. Stormfly trying to rescue what was quite a bad race for them early on, and it looked like he gave him a little nudge into the rear of TJ there. Is that something we need to look at after the race? Now, it looked to me like he gave him a little nudge. The problem is we can't save replays for races this long, but that certainly looked to me like he got a little nudge up the arse. There is no damage on TJ's car there, but let's have a look at the front of Stormflies. There's no damage on the front of Stormflies either, but we certainly saw TJ off the racetrack, and he's being lapped. Is he being lapped? He can't be being lapped, surely. Blue flags can't be for him. Oh, that's another mistake from TJ, overdriving the car. Got to get your head back in the game. If there was a mistake, we can address that through points, but you've got to get your head back in the game, my friend. Get your head back in the game. Yeah, it's just not, it's just all gone wrong. It's all gone horribly, horribly wrong. So, yeah, he's just lost his rhythm. That little tap from Stormfly's just taking his rhythm away. But Stormfly, remember, still has to run some medium compound tyres. And now TJ Myers, he probably doesn't know that. So he's probably lost his rags. He's thinking, fuck me, all his fucking hard work. And I was out in the lead, and this motherfucker who crashed his car like in 10 laps ago, and couldn't work out how to get into the pits. Now this mofo's overtaking me. What's occurring? And yeah, so I don't know. Maybe TJ's just tired. I mean, he's playing some blistering laps. He does have fun. As he comes round, he laps Coulomb. Coulomb just moving across and letting him through. So Wiggy, that gap is now down already. He's already down 3 seconds from what it was previously. He didn't have a great lap. That's 7:04 there. 7:04.6 has been there already 6 laps, apart from his in and out lap. We did have a 7:05 on lap 11. I think that was the one where he crashed the car before he retook the lead, of course. So there we go. 36 seconds now. Arun's has really, really closed that gap. So we did a 7:04. Arun's 7:26. How is the gap 36 seconds? If you'd done such a battle, there was an outlet, wasn't there? So that would explain it was an outlet for the pit. So not really representative. So we will see at the end of this lap what his representative pace is. The Stormfly's got himself up into the top 3. He got past TJ. He's got to use the medium tyres still. But TJ's done himself no favours. After he got past, it just went a little bit awry for him. And made some mistakes. He's cost himself some time. Now I think he could have, and probably should have, closed down on Arun's. And they could have got Arun's together and had a little kissy. I think I genuinely could have caught Arun's. He had the pace for it. Arun's, yeah, similar pace, but not in any consistent way. But that little blast there is really going to hold TJ. Really going to hold him. It's whether he can get his head back in the game. That's the question, because he lost almost 20 seconds in that last lap over what he would ordinarily be able to do, I think. Bear in mind that he has pits twice in very quick succession to go back onto the soft compound tyre. Is he going to regret that decision? Because he was ahead by some time on Arun's. Now, he was 11 seconds behind him. He's now 9 seconds behind Stormfly, and 6 plus the 6 seconds Stormfly is behind Arun. So that gap's actually come right out. Stormfly's done the fast lap race. That's a 6:52.0. So blistering pace. Just been hanging in there. And this is the thing, you know, a 3-hour race. Right? If things go wrong on lap 3, lap 4, lap 5, just stick it out, because you never know how things are going to change for you as the race develops. And we can see what's happened here. I mean, the rooms, if we based where he was on lap 2 on how he was going to finish this race, we will be not collecting our winnings for putting our money on him, because he was plumb last place. Now he's 36 seconds off the lead and arguably in a good position to nick it, because Wiggy ahead of him, who is taking chunks out of lap after corner after lap after corner. Just every single time he goes round the corners, little chunk less, little chunk less, little chunk less. And it's putting Wiggy in a very difficult position, because Wiggy has to run the medium combat tyre for at least one lap, one full lap. How's he going to do that and stay ahead of the rules? That's the big question. It's sorry, I was shouting upstairs. I was trying to work out what was going on upstairs. Hold on, I'll call him back in a second. So Wiggy leads this race still, but for how long? A couple of questions really is when's he going to put the medium tyres on? How small is that gap between him and Rooms going to be when he does so? And is he going to be able to keep Rooms at bay when he's on those medium tyres at the end of this race? So questions for Rooms. Can he keep this pressure on? Can he keep this significant pace up? While he's pushing, obviously, for his lead. Now, he knows he's going to have to go. Oh! Was that, I don't know whether that was lag or whether that was disappearing off the racetrack then. I think that was lag. I think he's lagging now. Does that mean that he's going to have a connect? Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine if he has a connection problem at this stage? How devastating that would be. That was awful lag there for the rules. Let's go on somebody who's not lagging. There's Stormfly. So here's a couple of questions about Stormfly. So we know that he has ramped up the pace now, 6:52.0. We also know that he also, and he's had a smash this lap actually, you can see the damage there on the front. So he did get past TJ, he did open up a big gap. TJ struggled a little bit. But yeah, so here's the question. He has to run the medium compound tyre also. When does he do it? Is he on the same sort of strategy as Wiggy? Is he planning on going in late on and just running it for a lap or two? And how does that affect him with TJ? Well, I'll tell you how it affects him is he's not going to freaking beat him, because TJ's only 4 seconds behind him. And we know TJ's got some good pace there. And how much can TJ take out of him this lap? So that's another mistake for Stormfly. He's off the racetrack. Where's TJ? There he is. He's right up behind him. He's going to regain 3rd place, or does he? He does not. Stormfly just gets back up to racing speed just in the nick of time. But TJ is invigorated. He's revitalised. He's back on the pace. He had a really poor lap straight after he lost that place to Stormfly, and really struggled to get it home. He lost loads and loads of time. But he will now be buoyed by the fact that he can see Stormfly in front of him, and he knows that there's an error or two in Stormfly's race where he's pushing. Now, bearing in mind that TJ runs to the end of this race, doesn't have to flop again. He's got enough fuel to go. He's got those soft compound tyres. He's done his mandatory stint on those medium tyres. Stormfly hasn't run, at least to the best of my knowledge, has not run the medium tyres yet. I'm almost certain he hasn't run. No, he hasn't. He hasn't run the medium tyres. He started on the soft, so he couldn't run. Yeah, because the only ones that started on the mediums were Columbi and Rooms, and the Rooms binned him after 2 laps. Columbi took his way past halfway point. So that's the situation out front. It basically, any one of those 4 can still win the race depending on what Habit's strategy was. My money at the moment, I think, is still on Wiggy. He's just opened up that gap a bit now, back to 40 seconds. So he's got that bit of extra pace in the tank. I think Wiggy will hold on and win this race. Bear in mind, he does need that gap because he's got to jump in, chuck on some medium compound tyres, and then finish the race. Fubar got his strategy a little bit off, but then you're looking at the pace and you're like, at the time, you know, him and the Rooms were a very similar part of the racetrack. Wasn't much between them. They had the same sort of tyre wear, same sort of fuel consumption. He went in a little bit sooner than the Rooms did. When he could have actually stayed out probably a lap or two longer than the Rooms did. And at the time, it seemed like I still think it's a little bit of a strategic error. But he hasn't had, on the soft compound tyre, he hasn't had the kind of pace we've seen from TJ, we've seen from the Maroons. And, you know, it's all well and good. If he got that strategy right, yes, he'd probably be a little bit further up the racetrack. Certainly for me, I think he would be. But, yeah, without the kind of pace those guys have been chucking in, it would have been very difficult for him to make top three. But good racing all the same. He's pretty much been unchallenged by anybody, other than the faster guys ahead, when for a brief time he was ahead of them. Columbia is 2 minutes 30 seconds ahead of Old Man J now. I think Old Man J struggled a bit and went far too long. You know, when is too much fuel and tyre saving too much, I'll tell you what, today, way past the point, you know, still saving tyres, still saving fuel that you didn't need to, and the gap just got bigger and bigger and bigger to a car in front that it was always going to be on a softer compounded tyre than you were required to put on the car, even if it was just for a couple of laps. So for me, I think when you saw the sort of time hit that halfway point, he should have gone hammer time. But, you know, it is what it is. Racing is what it is. 34 seconds is the gap. That gap is up and down like a horse draws at the moment. And it was 30 seconds. It was 45 seconds. It was 40 seconds. It's down to 33 seconds. It looks like a Runes is on a big charge. He's 8.6 seconds clear of Stormfly at the moment. He's opened back up that gap that his spin cost him. He's opened it back to 3.2 seconds. But he's another one that still needs medium tyres. It's only Wiggy and Stormfly that need still to put on a set of medium tyres. Everybody else has used that mandatory tyre. So Wiggy with that 33-second gap, that is just about on the cusp of staying ahead. But you've got to bear in mind, he might be ahead when he comes out, but he's going to be on cold medium tyres, while the car behind is on nice, soft, grippy, rubbery, soft ones. So don't count the Runes out. Now remember, the Runes didn't race in the first 2 races. Joined us for Daytona, absolutely dominated there, and I questioned his strategy there, and I was wrong to question it. He was absolutely spot on to win that race. Doing the same again today. You know, I was going to start to question the strategy. Then I remembered just how perfectly he got it when he did the race at Daytona. And I'll tell you what, he's been on it like a car bonnet. Lap times dropped off a little bit since that little middle of the race. Him and TJ went on a massive charge where they were chucking in, trading 652, 653, 654s. Him not so much as TJ, of course, but now just dropping out a little bit. But he's chasing down Wiggy. He's got a lot of work to do though still. Stormfly back on the podium with 3 seconds is the gap behind, but remember he still has to change for some medium compound tyres. Those soft tyres starting to look a little bit ropey. Can he take it to the end? Probably can. He's not going to be allowed to because he needs to put on some medium tyres. Now, there's TJ. It's a difficult race for him because, but look, he went in and he put the medium compound tyres on. He was in a really good position. He was clear of the Runes. He had the medium tyres on. or he would have been clear of Arun's when he had the medium tyres on. But he chose to follow him in. Now, had he just stayed out on the medium tyres, he would have gone ahead of him, and he would have been probably 11 or 12 or so. Was it 20? He took 20 seconds out of him with a pit stop, so probably about 25, 28 seconds clear of him. And then doing the last sort of 40 minutes of this race on medium compounds, 40, 50 minutes of this race on the medium compounds. He chose to go in when Arun's went in, and Arun's was fueling and tiring, whereas TJ was just tiring. He cut that gap. The gap was about 30 seconds. He cut it down to 11 seconds, both on the racing soft tyres. And we know that TJ is capable of putting in consistent 52, 53, 52, 54 kind of laps. So that was potentially game on. But no one factored in Stallfly. And I didn't, and it was obviously Stallfly did, but I didn't. And along he came, puts it in the fastest lap of the race, 6:52.0, makes the move on TJ, just unsettles TJ's rhythm a little bit, and he has a really, really poor lap, a 7:15.4, which cost him a bit of time. He's starting now to reel in that time, starting to ramp up the pace again, getting back in amongst the low 55s, or that kind of number, which is where he needs to be. But he's got 2.3 seconds to Stallfly, who does need to put on medium tyres. He's got 4.2 seconds to Arun's. So he is a little bit closer to Arun's than he was. But all the time his clock's ticking down. It's getting harder and harder. And it's going to get even more difficult as the tyres start to go off. The tyres are in a much better position at the moment than Stallfly, certainly. But still interesting. Any one of those top four can win this endurance race still. For me, I think Stallfly is probably the outside bet. I think fourth place is considering how badly it went from him, particularly the middle sector and the middle stint, in terms of crashes and spins and grass cutting, all that kind of thing. I think Stallfly's probably, he should kind of 10, 15, 20 to 1 outsider for top three. I think it's difficult to look past Wiggy in terms of winning this. He does have to be careful with that gap. If Arun's gets that gap down below 30 seconds, I think Wiggy's going to be in a little bit of trouble when he does do his little splashy dashy for the medium compound tyres. And doing laps at a 7:07 is not going to help. Can he improve? He needs to be doing those regular 56s at this stage now. There's no point holding back, because he needs that gap to open up a little bit, particularly because he's going to have to run at least one lap on those medium tyres. And that's, Stallfly just puts in a 6:51.3. It's almost like he heard me say, I think he's an outsider for the top three here based on everybody else, and said, well, fuck you, watch this, biatch. That's a bloody blistering lap. But TJ behind. TJ did 51.3 as well. So clearly there is some pace in TJ's car. And Stallfly makes another mistake. That brings TJ even closer. Is the pressure on? Is Stallfly feeling the pressure of the battle of the Dutchmen? This is the Dutch versus Dutch, showing off who is the butchest of them all. TJ's trying to go side by side. Stallfly just stays out in front. TJ drops in that slipstream again. They are at full pelt. He tries to look up the inside. The move's not on. Is there a tap in the bum there? Gets away with it that time. Remember, Stallfly gave him a little love tap. He unsettled his car a couple of laps ago, but now he's coming back at him. He's coming at you like Cleopatra. Look at that. And this position has changed hands quite a lot between these guys battled really from the start of this race. These two guys were first and second, battling out. And initially, Stallfly was winning out, but TJ just stuck in there. And whatever happens, I think that apart from the reprimand he's going to get for overtaking during qualifying and really unsettling Wiggy's qualifying, and there's no two ways about it. Wiggy would have been faster had TJ not given him a little fucking smack up the inside with racing during qualifying. But He has been the driver of the day. Looks round the outside. He's got the inside line here. TJ up into third place. He is truly the Flying Dutchman right now. And the gap to Aruns, you can see him right there. It's just 2 seconds. So it is game the fuck on. And I'll tell you what, at this pace, Wiggy should be afraid. Be very afraid. Because you can't see what's going on behind you. And I'll tell you what is going on behind you. There is some Dutchmen hunting you down. And this is like a battle in the late 1700s when the British and the Spanish and the French and the Dutch were all kicking the shit out of each other for little bits of the Americans. And at the moment, there's 3 Dutchmen chasing the plucky Brit through the forest here in Germany. There's a spin from TJ. It's all gone horribly, horribly wrong. Stall fly through. TJ just overcooked that, and he's fucked it. What an absolute crock of shit that is. And so he goes again. We know he's got the pace. He's still got the tyres. He's going to have a little bit of damage for a while. He's going to have to wait for that to repair. So he goes again. I'll tell you what, if he wins it from here, then Kevin needs to hang up his fucking steering wheel. I'm joking, of course. No, phenomenal driving from TJ, but just overcooked that. And it showed such composure in the battle with Stormfly. And then, after doing all the hard work, then the mistake comes. And the thing is, after 2.5 hours of racing, and we have got less than half an hour left of this race, the fatigue starts to set in. And, maybe a bit of complacency, and certainly that, if you're not where you expected to be at this point of the race, you're pushing, you're overdriving the car. And Stormfly and TJ are both pushing so hard and pushing each other so hard that they're forcing each other to make mistakes. And this is where it is absolute key. And they're both, of course, in the Porsche. So it's all about driver more than anything else, of course. No. It's not about anything other than driver ability here, and they are equal in this respect. Stormfly slightly more equal with 651.320, but remember TJ did a 651.399. Fuck all, did it? There was 400th of a second separating them in qualifying. To be fair, the only way you can separate these two in a minute is with a crowbar. They're just so close to each other. And not in a way, of course. 5.7 seconds the gap at the moment, though, after that little mistake from TJ. But he'll pick himself up, dust himself on, go again. How's about that then? That helps Wiggy, though. That really does help Wiggy. Because, yes, he's got 3 Dutchmen still chasing him. But the gap's opened back up again from Maroon's 35 seconds. He can continue on in that Toyota. He knows he's got to go in. He's got to do a splashy dashy with the medium tyre. I don't know why I call it splashy dashy. He doesn't need to put fuel on. He just needs to put some rubbery, the splashy dashy rubbery. A lovely rubbery. So yeah, he's got to put a bit of rubber on. A bit of the medium compound rubber. But at the moment, that 34 seconds is enough to go in, whack on those tyres, and fuck off back out of the pits and get on up the road and try and keep the gap. He's going to have rooms coming at him full pelt in that last lap or two, but should be able to hold off, we think. So, 6:57.0 for Wiggy that last lap, 6:59.0 for Arooms. He really does need to up the pace if he wants to take this win. 6.3 seconds back to Stormfly, 9 seconds back to TJ. So TJ losing loads and loads and loads of time. So that cost him another almost 18 seconds. That mistake cost him. After doing so well, making the overtake, getting ahead of Stormfly, and then cocking it. And this is just how unforgiving this horrible, horrible bitch of a racetrack is. It can murder you with the slightest bit of provocation. Sometimes it will do it without any provocation at all. But this has been a phenomenal race, actually. Battles all over the place. Let's have a look at these guys. We haven't given them much love. They haven't been giving us much action, but so it's difficult to give them love when we're getting no action. But there we go, old man Jay. There he is. He's 2.5 minutes back from Glum. from Canada. Callum did an entire first stint, and these guys are both. This is the thing. These guys both one-stop this race, and they're in 6th and 7th. So clearly, the two-stop going a little bit quicker, pedal to metal, was the better strategy. Spending a lot more time on soft compound tyres, of course. Although Wiggy, I mean, technically could have one-stopped this if he'd switched out to the beginning. But would he be that far ahead in the lead if he had done? Probably not. Not with the difference between the two tyres. But yeah, so Callum, 2.5 minutes almost behind Fubar as well. Fubar is 5 minutes back from TJ from that top 4. So the kind of 5th, 6th, 7th, really kind of. It's almost like a time trial for them at the minute. Just know how quickly can they put a lap in. And I tell you what, at this stage, it gets pretty darn lonely when you've got no action going, and you know that pretty much there's not going to be any action going for the rest of this race. So everything happening out in front, and TJ's deck cap's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But look at Stormfly. His tyres right now are ropey as shit. He's 1.4 seconds behind the room because he's absolutely chucking in some crazy lap times. But it's the problem is he's got a pit again, hasn't he? So it doesn't matter what he does. Both Wiggy and Stormfly have to pit again, which is always going to play into the hands of those guys that don't. This is the guy that really needs to get a shit for. Now it's now or never. Now is the time you've got to do essentially 20 minutes of the best driving he has ever done. He's got to pull out those 651.3. He's got to pull out essentially, what are we looking at? 4 of them laps. If he can pull out 4 of those laps, he stands within a chance. 4 or 5, let's say 5 of those laps. He stands within a really good chance of a high podium step. So third, I think third is still very much a shoo-in. If he does keep that going. Stormfly's made that move past the rooms into second. But remember, and it spins, sugar. Car pilot there, son. How quickly can TJ get back in contention? Come on, TJ, can you close this gap? He sees the yellow flag ahead. He's getting all excited. His little wheelie's getting hard. And here he goes. He's getting closer to Stormfly. Does he make the move? Yes, hell yes. Get in there. TJ up into third place. This battle, I'm loving this battle between these two. Is there more to come from them? Fucking love it. Brilliant battling. And what does that do for Wiggy? That just gives Wiggy the impetus. And he is out in front, 41 seconds clear, which is a gap exactly more that he needs. So he can go in, he can put on those little, those shitty little medium compound tyres, put them on, run his couple of laps for them, and take a checker flag, say fuck you very much to the guys behind. So Roon's back up into second place after that crazy bit of action. Stormfly makes the overtake, then bins it in the very next corner. And Arun says, thank you very much, I'll go back into second place. But, now, is he going to struggle for place? 59.050, I mean, that is... To be that consistent, 59.014, 59.009, lap times that close together when the lap is 7 minutes long. That's phenomenal driving. That is really phenomenal driving. But with the pace of TJ, who's got Stormfly crawling all over him, and these guys have been up and down past each other like a horse knickers. They've been up and down, and I'll tell you what, TJ at the moment, he's in a better position because we know the Stormfly. Look at those tyres are ropey, and he's got to pit for some medium tyres at some stage. When does he choose to do that? He wants to get past, desperately wants to get past TJ. TJ's having none of it. Now, if I were TJ, I wouldn't be trying too hard to defend. At the moment, what he needs pace. He needs super pace. Now, it wouldn't be such a bad shout to let Stormfly past and get some fucking slipstream, man. Get him pulling him down the racetrack. Because he's certainly going to be giving up some to Stormfly as they come round. They'll come round this left-hander here, And then you've got the right-hander ahead as they're closing down on Rooms. And this is the view from Stormfly's car. And you can see, there's the three of them. These guys are battling out for second place. Potentially first. It's quicker out that corner. And TJ's got that slipstream. And the Rooms is off the track. That puts TJ through. That puts Stormfly through. The Rooms couldn't handle the pressure. And he's now 2.8 seconds back. Has that cost him? I tell you what, that has pretty much, I think, handed the race to Wiggy with a tight little bow around it in a little pretty bag with some paper and some glitter and all that shizzle. And Wiggy has just been handed this competition. Stormfly and TJ, Stormfly back up into second place. TJ tucked in behind in that slipstream. He's going to try and make a move backward in very, very soon. If he's still in there when they come to the start-finish straight, I'll tell you what, there might be another overtake coming on as we go through here. And TJ off the track. Does he recover? Yes, he does. Does he get a penalty? Well, he certainly lost a little bit of time there. He's out of the slipstream now. He didn't get a penalty. He got away with that. But so this is after 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours of racing. We've got Stormfly, TJ, and the Runes all battling it out for second place here. Wiggy's now 52 seconds clear. He's laughing, absolutely laughing it up. He just had to keep it on the racetrack. He had to keep that gap, maintain it, make the guys behind him push. That's exactly what they did. And they have been giving us some absolutely fabulous action. And so let's have a look on board where the room's got a little bit wide there. And just watching his two rivals disappear off 3 seconds up the road. As it's Stormfly, TJ. Now, he does have to put on the medium combat tire. So TJ's in a brilliant position at the moment because he can run to the end. We know he can run to the end. We know Runes can run to the end. The Runes have been very, very aggressive with his tyres. He's still got 15 minutes on those tyres. Should be all right, but it's going to be a little bit ropey towards the end, I think. It's going to be a little bit squeaky bum time as it gets towards the end of the race. But we'll see how it pans out. TJ, absolutely fine on tyres, absolutely fine on fuel. Not going to struggle in the slightest. Stormfly, again, fuel-wise, he's going to be fine. I think tyre-wise, we know that he needs medium compound tyres at some stage, as does Wiggy. But Wiggy's got 51 seconds. He's got a massive cushion. He's got a massive cushion with a hole in, but it makes you feel comfy when you've had a butt operation and you've got to sit there. That's how good it is. It's the nicest cushion you've ever seen. It's a silk cushion of the highest order. That's the cushion that Wiggy's got. 52 seconds of it. Stormfly, though, doesn't have that blessing. He's got a very angry Dutchman chasing him down. He's got a very focused angry Dutchman chasing him down. The gap is 3.96, it's 4 seconds. But TJ doesn't give a shit about that. He's just going to keep doing what he's doing and waiting for the inevitable. And I'm saying inevitable because it's happened. Stormfly's been quick, but he's been inconsistent. We can't see him at the moment. He knows he's out there somewhere. He just can't see him. He looks at his mirrors, and there is this brief yellow and black and red dot just in the distance there. But what he wants to see, he wants to see that green dot ahead of him, that target of his in Stormfly, which he can't see right now. But lap times, a bit of erratic. But the fastest team out there have been Stormfly with a 51.320 and TJ with a 51.399. Little there from TJ. Does that bring a Rooms back into it? Not close enough to capitalise, but he is closer than he was, and that's always the thing that matters. So this track is just so unforgiving. It's a cruel mistress with Nordschleife. That's why they call it the Green Hell, because it's green and it's like going to hell trying to drive around this track. So Stormfly is opening, he's absolutely not. He's opening up a gap. But he needs a much bigger gap than that for it to work for him. That's the fact of the matter. Yeah, much bigger gap needed. Back in 13 seconds. back in the room. Did you miss me, bitches? You did. Right, so let's have full run. Let's go from the back forward. Old man J 2 minutes 45 seconds. He's back from Cullen. He's losing more time now. But I think this is where he will stay. It's all about really just putting some laps in there and getting those laps down. Columbi, there he is. 3 minutes 21 seconds behind Fubar. That gap's getting bigger as well. Both on their own parts of the racetrack. There's Fubar in that LM55, beautiful looking car. At one stage was involved in about really looking at a potential top 3. Has really dropped off the pace a bit now. Finds himself 5 minutes behind the top 4. So Rooms was in second, then back in fourth, then in second again. Now back in fourth again. He's 3.7 seconds behind TJ. He's running to the end of this race. TJ is 5.6 seconds behind Stormfly. He is also running to the end of this race. He both him and Rooms have used the medium compound tyres. The two front runners, Stormfly in the Porsche 919. He still needs to run the medium tyres for at least a lap. 5.8 seconds is not enough time for him to get in and out and run to the end. And he's got very little time left, so he's going to have to improvise, I think. Top 3 at the moment is looking pretty ropey for Stormfly, unless he can chuck in some crazy lap times. Wiggy, however, looking very comfortable in the Toyota. He is 47 seconds clear. That is plenty of time for him to nip into the pits, put on the medium compound tyre, come back out and leisurely cruise home, waving at his fans. He could probably even do the last lap in reverse, the way he's been driving at the moment. And yeah, there we go. It's been an amazing race, to be fair. And there's been some great battles. TJ and Arooms. So it was early doors. It was Stormfly and TJ right at the beginning of the race. Then TJ drops off the pace, and it's Wiggy and Stormfly battling it out. Great battles between them. Then that battle's over, and Wiggy gets a little bit of space out front, and then it's TJ and Arooms having their little battle. And then once they'd finished having their battle, Stormfly decided that he wanted to get in on the action. Then Stormfly and TJ having their little battle, and then it was a 3-way battle. It was Stormfly, TJ and Arooms. And since then it's kind of settled down a bit. Stormfly now 8.1 seconds clear. There's 10 minutes left. So essentially 2 laps for Stormfly, 2 laps for Wiggy. So Wiggy's going to have to come in at the end of this lap, put on those medium tyres, as is Stormfly. The gap that Stormfly has over TJ and Arooms is going to be absolute key then. Now, TJ's got more than enough fuel to, and he should. Now, here's the question, actually. Here is the question. Is there going to be enough time for him to do 2 laps? I think there is. He's already through what we're talking about. Of course there is. So these guys will all do 2 laps. This one, lap 25, and lap 26 will be the last 2 laps here. So 14 minutes essentially to the end of this race. Right, so Fubar, he'll get another lap. He should make it. He'll be on that last lap. Don't know if he'll get to finish it with the way the time will run out, but he'll certainly get on to that last lap. It won't really matter. I mean, the gap is far too big and insurmountable at this stage. There is Columbi. He's tired. Look at the state of those tyres. Does this bring old man Jay back into the race here? Because Colum's tyres are looking really fucking shit. Now, the problem is, if he manages to get home without crashing and he gets into the pits and changes them out, he'll be okay. But with the state of those tyres, and I'm going to show you just how bad these tyres are. Look at that. That is ropey. I tell you what, he could be in big fucking trouble if he loses them. And he's going to have to go slow here. Tell you what, Jay, if you can up your pace a little bit, my friend, on those soft tyres, you've got loads of tyre in here, you've got loads of fuel. You could potentially put Colum under. Colum's opted not to pit. He's going to do one more lap on those tyres. And I'll tell you what, I'll tell you how he's going to be in trouble, because if Old Man Jay can get... I don't think he's going to make it. He's not going to make it. That's the only problem. He's not going to make it. Cullen's just too far ahead. So, I don't know. It's going to be a difficult one. It's 2 minutes. But, you know, enough spins. If you took 30 seconds of spinning, he spins 2 or 3 times. This could be a very different complexion. We'll wait and see. At the moment, he's holding on. I think he did the right thing by staying out, to be honest. I think he goes in the pits. He might not get the opportunity of a second lap, which I think is going to be his saving grace. We'll see how that pans out. Okay, so here we go. Wiggy's going to need to pit at the end of this lap. He's got to put on some medium compound tyres. Stormfly is going to pit at the end of this lap. He's got to put on some medium compound tyres. TJ, he's 6.2 seconds back. He just needs to stay in that gap, and he will take a podium place and a higher stepping podium in second. The perennial second place finisher. And to be fair, at one stage I thought he was a good outside bet to win this race, and I think if he had not had the few mistakes he did have during the battles with Stormfly, I think actually, you know, bear in mind that Stormfly did give him a little nudge in the back, and it did unset his car a little bit. But I suppose that's calmer for you know, giving Wiggy a little budge in qualifying to overtake him, which just can't be done. It's a shitty thing to do. Arun's just not. He had the pace early on, really did have the pace early on, but not really finding it now. And that's what 6.3 seconds is that gap. Tyres and fuel are really fine. He's not going to find that anyway. We'll make it easy to the end of this race. The problem is he might not be in the top 3. It really depends on Stormfly and this pit that he's got to do. Now I'm saying he's got to do it. I don't, how many times am I wrong? I mean, last time I said TJ needed to pit and he didn't. So yeah, it was a mad panorama where I forgot he'd run the medium commentator. But I don't think Stormfly has run the medium commentator yet. I mean, even if he has, he's in trouble anyway, because those tyres are looking ropey. The gap's down to a second. TJ's going to make this move. I don't think he's even going to need Stormfly to pit at this rate, because Stormfly's got damage. He's got ropey looking tyres. He's got TJ crawling all over him. This battle's back on. It's fighty fight time again. And they, bear in mind, they've got another lap after this one. They're going to get this car home in basically a lap and a half, or a lap and a smidge. Yeah, a lap and a smidge is what they've got left. Stormfly's got to do everything in his power to keep that car away from the on-rushing TJ. Keep it away from TJ, because he'll touch it today, or maybe yesterday, because he didn't know how to do days or do the time properly. So when's he going to make the move? Is he going to make the move at half to 11? And that is time. It's just gone 11:30 here in the UK. So after 12 in the Netherlands. Alright, so Wiggy, there he goes. He's in the pits. He's going to put on those medium compound tyres. Doesn't really matter. I mean, that's 53 seconds is plenty. He's going to come out. The gap's going to be about 30 odd seconds, but he's going to be winning the race, whatever happens. He's only got to do one lap on those horrible tyres. The gap 1.1 seconds. TJ Arun's had a problem. That's a 28 second gap now, so he has taken himself out of contention for a top 3. There's been a spin somewhere. Spoon sugar is what's happened to him. He had a 7:20 on lap 23, 7:02 on lap 24, so he is out of contention now for the top 3. He is luckily though 5 minutes up the road from Felipe, who won't be able to capitalise on that. But this battle's still on. There's only a second in it, and so Stormfly will come around. So Stormfly must have used the medium tyres already, because he's not put any on So I have to assume that he has used the medium tyres at some stage, but I don't remember him doing it. I hope someone can correct me and that I missed something, but I don't remember him using those medium compound tyres at any stage. It certainly didn't start. It started on the soft tyres. We'll check back through that, of course. There'll be some footage somewhere with medium tyres on if he's used them, of course. But he's got to try and fend off TJ. So at the moment, he's on the last. We're on the last lap of the race, lap 26. Wiggy is 31 seconds clear. He's going to win this race, bar an absolute fuck up of epic proportions. Stormfly, he is potentially going to come second if he can keep TJ at bay. His tyres are not looking as good as TJ's are, so there is always that danger of those tyres dropping off and TJ saying thank you very much and picking him off and then using his bones to clean his teeth. That's a very big potential. Haroon's not going to be able to capitalise on any of that because he's absolutely pinned his car somewhere, because that was a ridiculously slow lap for him. 7:26. He's 43 seconds off the pace now. He will finish fourth, of course, but no challenge for him before the top three. I'll tell you what, top three probably deserve it. TJ just starting to close up that gap now. The gap is down to 0.3 of a second. But it's passing, that's going to be the key. Can he force a mistake? Stormfly, the slipstream, he pulls out. Stormfly trying to squeeze him out. A little touch. They both touch. He's on the grass. Oh, I don't know. That was racing, I think. I'm going to say that was racing. It was a little bit aggressive, but it was certainly racing. He was ahead, so he had everything right to the corner, of course. But very, very aggressive. Sparks coming off the back of that car. Can Stormfly keep TJ at bay here? And TJ just going a little bit right. Shouldn't be a penalty for that though. Really that far off track. So he goes again. He closes up on Stormfly. He needs that slipstream. That's going to be key. There they are. 3 minutes into this, what's essentially a 7-minute lap. So just 4 minutes to find a way on to the second step of the podium for TJ. Of course, Colombo, he finishes in 6th place. We do need to double check the Stormfly ram those medium compound tyres. I'm sure he did it. He knows he's only watched the try on, surely. So we will check. He must have done it in the middle of the race. So he just got to check for that. But at the moment, Stormfly doing everything possible, really, to keep TJ at bay. TJ needs to try and find a way through. It's a minute back to Haroon's now. Haroon's is not going to close that gap. So this is the only battle left on the racetrack. And it'd be remiss of me not to show Ruby crossing the line after 3 hours of racing, and I will endeavour to do that. Whereas he's something on where his little man is, his little arrow is. So when he gets close to it, I can flip to him. This battle is still raging on. It is Stormfly versus TJ. It has been Stormfly versus TJ ages. How you doing, Silkshed? How are you, Drew? It's been a while. No, it's been a really good. To be fair, there has been some great battles in this race. It's been on like Donkey Kong. I've got to say, it's been great racing for these two. Here's another opportunity for TJ. Little tap in the back in that braking zone. He does make the move. Let's be fair, they've been bumping into each other this whole race. We had Stormfly did take a position from him many laps ago, probably about 6 laps ago, when he tapped TJ in the back and took the position. So I think all's fair in love and war here, and they are battling out, battling. So 4.9 seconds, 5 seconds. So Stormfly now the one on the charge, but he's got a bit of damage in the front of his car, and he's got really ropey tyres. I might ask some exterior people to have a look at the couple of bumps. We've got both bumps on the stream, so I think people need to look at those. But essentially, there's 3 incidents need looking at. Oh, TJ off the racetrack. Is that going to be Karma biting him in the arse? No, it's not. He's back on. The gap getting bigger though. There's 3 incidents really need looking at. There is the obviously instant qualifying where TJ bins his car. Is this going to be another twist in the tail? Can he get it back on the track? Is that guilty conscience, maybe? Don't know, but here we go. Stormfly, lot closer. This race is still not over. I know we've got to watch Wiggy cross the line, but I don't know if I can come away from this actually at the moment. Yeah, as I say, so we have to, we've got 3 instances we need a steward to look at. Essentially, the incident between TJ and Wiggy qualified to look at, and a decision made. And then there was a little tap from Stormfly on the back of TJ, and a little tap in the back of TJ, Stormfly from TJ and Stormfly, and vice versa. And a mistake! And that's the end of the race. I don't know, of course, that's why the race ended there, because the guys in front finished first. So that kind of went a little bit fucking wrong, didn't it? Isn't it supposed to be for when the person in first place crosses the line? That's a bit shit. So, there we go. So basically the winner was Wiggy from TJ, then Stormfly. Then we've got, who was it next? Then it was a Rooms, then Columbi, then Fubar, Columbi, then Old Man J. How about that then? That's something that PD needs to fix immediately. Absolutely fucking immediately. It's a 3-hour fucking race, okay? On a racetrack that's a 7-minute fucking racetrack, and you can't get to see the end of the fucking... Are you kidding me? PD, somebody from PD needs to fucking watch that and seriously get a fucking grip. The person that won the race didn't get the checkered flag because of your stupid fucking timing system. Now, I get you need to have a timing system in there because otherwise you'll be fucking waiting forever. But you need to fucking use your brain there. It's a 7-minute fucking lap. And I'll tell you what, PD, all the good you do with all the graphics and the sound and all that, that right there is the reason why people want to punch you in your cock. Fucking stupid decisions like that. Anyway, here's my rant over. Listen, that was a fucking great race. Absolute fucking awesome race. Loved it. Minute 1 to hour 3. I was trying to work out how many minutes in 3 hours, but I'm too tired, man. I can't do it. I'm spent. No, that was really, really, really cool race. Thank you for sitting through that. No one actually sat through those fucking 3 hours totally, but those that did join me throughout, thank you for joining me. It was a really, really cool race there, and I've had my little rant at PD for a stupid timing system. Driver of the day for me to TJ. I think he was involved in a couple of incidents, but he absolutely was on it like a fucking car bonnet today, and probably deserved maybe more than just second. Going to update the table. Now, let me update the table now, and we'll see where everyone else is at. Let's do that while we talk to you, and we can see what's occurring then. Hold the line, caller, while I just talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, do that. Talk amongst yourselves. Say hello to each other. Introduce yourselves. Where is it? Manage League. Okay. Well, we were at the Nurbugring. It's finished race and update results. I didn't see what the fastest that was, so I can't put that in. Started won the race, and second was DJ, then it was Aaron was third, Rooms came in 4th place, Fubar, Phil was in 5th, then it was Columbe J, and Bandit was a DNF, so nil point for him. Haven't updated penalties yet. If there are any, they will be updated, but the table will be that'll be updated soon. So Star Group leads the way, 87 points now, 7 points clear of Stormfly VR46, who by virtue of coming in 3rd drops even more points to the championship leader. Ghost cements his place in that top 3, close the gap to just 4 points to Stormfly on 76 points. Fubar up into 4th place, 64, leapfrogging the stricken Yellow Sausages, who is I think he's home from hospital now, but he's unable to race at the moment. Jay moves up into 6th place. One more race should see him into that top 5. Rooms after 2 races, 43 points. He should leap his way into that top 5 in the final race. Columbi up to 8th place, 36 points. Everyone else moves down because they didn't score no pointy points. So there we go, all done and dusted, finished. Thank you very much. Yeah, do you know what? Great race, James, and it did look like hard work. And at one stage, we saw that gap coming down and wondered whether he was going to have the window to put on the medium compound tyres. But thank you very much for joining me. It was an awesome race. I've been Urban Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV in aid of the charity Mind. This was 3 hours around the Nurbugring. Back next week for one more of these fantastic races. Maybe at Spa, maybe somewhere else. We'll confirm tomorrow for you. Thank you very much, and good night, mofos.
Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.